somewhat dominant. And I think that we have broken a bit of a dominant trend, breaking back through this 100K and this 85 mark. But, Bitcoin cycle does what Bitcoin cycle does. We'll see. Just like everyone has been saying, this time around is different. We'll see if this time around is really different.
Well, this time around, it is now 2 o'clock around these neck of the woods, guys. Yeah, thank you very much, Obi.
Boom.
I'm going to send it over to the other side of the room there. Get involved with some Katina Man, see what he's been up to for the past couple hours and how the gym has been. Guys, thank you very much. Obi joining us. Yeah. That's it. I think that's it. Yeah, Sharif be back on Monday. Neil back on Tuesday. Don't worry, y'all. Neil back on Tuesday. And yeah, hopefully everyone has a good 4th of July weekend.
Happy Independence Day for those of you who I won't be seeing tomorrow. But yeah, take care. Have a good one. We'll give Joe a little bit of time to go and get set up there. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Once again, do not go anywhere. We got another show, the second half of the day coming up, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Into the close there. So that's coming up soon enough, every single day. So don't forget to throw that like and that subscribe. And have a great long weekend. Are you ready to go? Okay, all right. So without any further ado, I'll see you guys around. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Don't get into too much trouble. Pass it off to Sean, guys. Take it easy.
Our traders here, Obi, they don't get into any trouble. These are a bunch of great traders and not getting into any trouble this weekend, I hope. And if you are, do it with the ones you love. That's what we always say around here. I mean, it's not that much of an awe situation there. Hey, what's going on, Joe? We don't got a pool in our house, and my kids are now at one of the local pools on the day, and it's 44 degrees feels like right there, feeling like 114 Fahrenheit outside right now, and that's going to continue, I think, pretty much for the rest of today, and a little bit of relief tomorrow, as of course we get that holiday, and we're just going to try to spend it walking around a little Queen West tomorrow. The family's got a little plan to go downtown, grab a couple bites to eat, just check out a little bit of downtown Toronto and see the buzz in the summer. We talk about that all of the time. Yeah, we're here, guys. Welcome back. Thanks, Obi, for all of that. And yeah, man, SpaceX, we've been short this one. We were long and then we were short. And we do this all the time on SpaceX. SpaceX will be it's the only trade I'm actually up on today is SpaceX. And here it comes right back into VWAP. So, small percentage left on board on this trade, but shorted it basically VWAP, all day there. Was able to grab this back into the downside there for, of course, this name. And, just looking to see where we're going to go from here now. And I think where we're going to go is maybe through this level. So we're getting ready to stop out if we ever do break that 160. That's sort of what we were trying to go short with on the first place here, but it's a nice battle back. We definitely found that bottom of 156 a couple times. When it came, we didn't get anything out. When it came back down into right there, then you can start to see where we start to bid that out in and around 156. So, it's been not a great day, obviously, for Elon and company there. SpaceX not helping out either. And the main one that we're talking about, and this is the one that my whole day, like if I don't trade Tesla, I'm green today, but I did, so we're red. But there it is, downside there for Tesla, and just it's looks a little more dramatic than maybe it was in the fact that we were able to get out. But it's been a bad day, needless to say, for Tesla and its shareholders. And I heard actually them on the midday show say this is one of the worst days since July of 25, I think it was, but it was one of their past earnings days. And so you're getting really schmacked to the downside right here on Tesla today. We potentially, though, we keep on saying, let's not touch the pot if it's too warm. But, this one right into there, 390 has held. So just like in the morning where everyone was trying to tempt myself, I felt like, to try to go long into there. And I even had to tell Joe, whoa, let's slow down on the long talk right there until we find a base. Looks like we might have been able to find one there at 394, good little level there, bump back up near 400, and now we're looking at that. But, the watch list today is a brutal one, man. And I was trying to search through it to try to see if there's any opportunities. The good thing about this story is Netflix right here, up 6%. Yeah, I'll move it over a little bit. There you go. Is that better, Andre? Netflix right there, up 5% there. So that's a good one there for Netflix. Apple, yeah, perfect. There's Apple as well. So Netflix at the highs and trying to get higher there. So we like that stock. We like what that's been doing. We like what Apple has been doing, right? We reported earlier today, and it was even last night when we talked about that 395 level and what we thought about it. And that was something pretty simple, man. And that was just that, hey, what about this, right? What about the fact that is Apple going to look into China for some of that memory that they're looking for, and not to remember about China, but to get memory. And there we go, up 4.5%. See if we can, curb some of the costs associated with, the Microns and all that of the world, that supply and demand all out of whack. So there's some CXMT company there in China. We're waiting to hear back to see if that winds up happening there as well. We'll get to that in a minute. And then Palantir right there. We're just going to go through the couple of the top names. Coinbase also going. J&J. I mean, we couldn't be happier with J&J right now. 261. We did rotate some money out of the Marvells of this world, which is great. We sold Marvell at 330 and bought some J&J and everything at 230, 228, something like that. So that's a good one at 261. Palantir also up 4.5%. So, some stocks are working, but most of them aren't. I will reverse this. Let me just go this, and we can talk about some of the negative ones there soon too. Marvell down 11. At what level would you go long on Tesla? I was just talking about that. So I do think that for Tesla, we'll zoom in on that watch list in a minute. We'll talk about Tesla quickly. So, I just looked at 390. So, and again, I think we have to preface all of this discussion with time frame, right? I mean, I don't think there's anything more important in trading than what your actual idea is. And if you sit down and actually base out an idea, you got to figure out, okay, like, where is that idea? Is it a longer term one? Is it a short term? We had Mitch on this morning. We're gonna have Steve Heilman on soon as well.
Oh, let's go.
This afternoon. Yeah, we're gonna see what he's up to. And then the idea behind everything is swing trading versus investing versus what we do here on the show which is just day trading, right? And so I was gonna say that if you're looking to buy some Tesla and hold it, I think, I never want to say like on day one, but if you don't have a big position, this is its worst day, as we just said, since last July. So I would say that if you are somewhat of a Tesla bull, just thinking that, hey, you like what they're doing. They had not record deliveries. They had great record Q2 deliveries, but they had great delivery number today, surprising myself and Joe, as we both were long their Tesla and thought they was going to hold, but did not. So, today I think there's an opportunity to buy a little bit of this. Why not? The Nasdaq's down 2.5%. If you like the stock, get it down 8%, start to nibble. But it looks like, and we've been down here before, this sort of an area, right? I mean, honestly, I know it's easy to say, oh, well, we can get down to 364 and then just buy it. But, that was right there. This goes all the way back to May of 25. So we're back a year where we saw that level. We had dipped into 300. So to say that that's not possible, I think that is very possible. But yeah, I would say you buy a little bit today, then you could buy a little bit in this area, 350 to 360, and then you hope to high heavens that we wind up holding around that $300 marker. So I like Tesla right there, but if you're talking about on just for today, I think we might have missed today's dip by opportunity. I mean, I don't know what Joe and Obi, right, correct, we're doing on the midday, but that 390 came once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. So you had a great bottom there over the last 2 hours on Tesla. Obviously, what we had said before is still true, right? You don't want to trade something that you've been burned on, and that would have been a tough one to take, especially being down on that stock today. But I don't mind that level down there at 390, and I think if you're going to short it,
I think it's a little late. It's too late for now.
Might be too late for the short, but we haven't seen this 200 period. I mean, and again, like, we haven't seen this 200 period since the very open. So, you're coming up to it now. So I think it's interesting to see what happens right now at 394. On Tesla. And there it is. So if you've been patient, let's just take this as an exercise here, because now we can wait to see what this 200 period moving average is all about. And if it winds up holding it, great. And we'll be able to say, okay, next time we see a dramatic move like this, we come up to the 200, we'll have a look. But for me, if you're long, sell some here. I just don't know if it's a trigger long, or if it's a trigger short. I'm not sure, but it's definitely a level that I have marked off. And what I use a 200 period moving average for is for a momentum change. So I would think that if we take it, I don't know if it's a breakthrough, we could take it, go up to 96, 97. Then when we come back, we'll see if it holds one more time. I don't trust it the same way as like a VWAP. If we come up to VWAP, then I think we can bounce back under. This is just, to me, is to give a quick look, see what's going on. And if we try to, like what I tried to do here was, once we break the 25 period on a shorter time frame, that's kind of when I like that long. You see it was pretty choppy, the 25 period into here, didn't give us much. So now we're at a longer time frame, and we're going to just give it a go and see what winds up happening here with Tesla at these levels. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a good one. And I can't be more disappointed with a stock than I am with Marvell, honestly. I mean, down 11% today, straight to the downside. This is a
yeah. But what like? I mean, man, this thing's on a big time run. Like
yeah, and we did get out of it, Joe. We didn't get out of it, but we got out of some for sure, and we're still happy with it. It's not. Don't let my disappointment be longer term, but at the end of the day, you're back to the 50 period moving average, and if you didn't get, like, it's down $100 from its highs. So there's lots of examples where you have and you're cherry picking, right? But that's not down 4%. That's good math there, calculator. Let's see if we go from there.
You're like down 30, almost 30%.
Yeah, it's not working. Yeah, but I was gonna say 100. It's easy math. It's $100 basically on 340. So you're down about 30% there from its highs on Marvell. So not good, and hasn't made me feel that good to watch this happen. But to your point, let's not cry over spilt milk. I mean, it's been a great run for Marvell.
It's been a great run. But I've been saying that from day one, man. When you see these parabolic moves, the market will just come back in. That's just the nature of the beast. And you know what? If you truly believe in the company, Katina, man, I think it's a good opportunity. You're like, oh, yeah, nice. I don't have to buy it all the way up here at $330 or $300, right? You can get a little bit more, especially because I think at this point this gap is going to be filled all the way down to 218 here in Marvell. That's just a quick, swift move up here in the span of a couple of months from May to where you peaked, right? So that's 57 bars, 84 days, less than 3 months. Less than 3 months, the stock goes on a 264% return. All right, so yeah, that's a pretty hectic move. That's pretty quick. And then now, in half the time, in 13 days, you give back 30% of that move. Sean, can you take a look at VICR? Sean absolutely can. I will pull it up too because I know he's been going on a little bit there. So we'll see what Vicor Group is. Have you ever heard of this company? Down 22%. But there he goes. Like, as our good friend Sean Kramer would always say, there's a bull market somewhere, and it looks like it's in this name. Like, this trend is holding up pretty well. From October of last year, you're still up 440%. At the peak, you're up 609%. So things are looking pretty good.
Yeah, no, we'll have to look at that name because I don't know what that is. VICOR, Vicor Group. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. But first, I want to make sure that you are all aware of a great sponsor of our show, and that is OGEN, ticker OGEN on the NYSE American. This company has now activated its phase 2A clinical trial in Australia with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002. It's an intranasal treatment targeting concussion and mild traumatic brain injury, an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies. Alongside that, Origenics has spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising capital, resolving liabilities, and restoring exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. Please go over, have a second, and check out OGEN right there. As you know, Joe and I talk about it. I mean, it's near and dear to, I think, both of our hearts. As I've played rugby, I played football, baseball, obviously. A lot of sports where basically every sport that you play, you're somewhat at risk. Basketball, taking an elbow to the head, or anything like that. And then there's examples there, falling down, or people getting in accidents, riding your bike. Like any little thing like that. Concussions, very, very important to take care of. Go check it out with OGEN. And I mean, I think even myself, like we were at hockey again, and it was a camp in Rochester. We weren't there, but a friend of ours was showing us a highlight, and some girl was like back checking basically, and sort of gave an elbow, not an elbow, but kind of like an elbow. You get out of the way, like trying to get the puck. And unfortunately, I guess the skater lost an edge and right into the boards. And this girl that same age as my daughter, so I was gonna say 11 or 12, apparently was concussed. And so, I mean, I know you have stories about that with hockey. I mean, I think everybody that's played a sport, you know, something to do with concussions and, you know, elders as well, you know, slipping and falling downstairs or anything like that. So check them out. It's OGen. And yeah, you never know what's going to happen, man.
Never, man. Your brain is precious.
That's why we always say,
the
like,
most precious thing.
You know, love life as much as you can and, you know, try to enjoy, you know, the outdoors and your loved ones in front of you. So. But yeah, thanks to OGen for continuing sponsoring and just a very important topic. Whether or not you look at the stock or not, I think OGen trying to do something new. And we had them on the show a couple weeks ago and they actually brought that intranasal device and it was very, very interesting to see. And thanks to Dara, that was a great interview and we'll see if we can grab them on again and just introduce that one more time. So yeah, Steve Talman coming off in about a half hour. So we'll get to him. Let me know if there's any questions or any stocks you want us to specifically ask.
We looked at, oh yeah, Steve, the chat you're referring to, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, if they have any questions, I mean, I'm going to ask him about Tesla today and like that sort of drop and how he feels and what that sort of looks like on a stock and hear the most, you know, talked about. And you had some bangers I saw in that CLRO. We were going to pay for some shorts on that. It was 4 cents, which turned out to be, you were like, maybe I'm going to go short, maybe I will. And then we didn't get it. And then it dropped 50 or 60 cents. And so sometimes you can see, you know, paying for shorts.
Like $3.
Yeah, now it's $3 down. Yeah, so there's another one. So what is the story there? Did you guys break that down?
I can figure it out here.
We can always ask Adara. CLRO. She's going to look into that one more time for us. But yeah, 6190. I mean, it's great to see. Yes, I think
they acquire a company, Corgent, in merger deal plans, $10 million.
Yeah, it's just the merger.
Yeah, that's $10 to $15 million raise.
Yeah, CLRO, and a couple halts.
Jensen sneezes, and this is like 15 million.
It's so crazy, right? I mean, the thing is about all this stuff with Jensen, like, you know, they're invested. You know what Jensen's invested in? A name that I got, you know, roped into. I'm feeling like Jensen's
Marvell
is Marvell. No, I mean Marvell's.
But he is though. He's got $2 billion.
Yeah. But the other one I was saying, like, I feel like Jensen's my new Tom Lee here. IREN was a name that they're invested in as well, and IREN's been running to the doors right now, and you know, like there's a flood happening here. This is getting crushed down here now, down to $39 is IREN. We bought this thing at 50. I think we first bought it. We last bought it right here. I don't know if it was that day or it was this day, but you know, we bought it down here on this 200. So the first time we just missed it there, and we're able to get in right. Yeah, it was 48. So we're 48s and like 51. So at the end of the day, we're long at, let's call it 49. So not a good day for me if we look at my holdings in IREN. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, be careful here, guys. I don't have too much info, but just be aware. A little bit of a bounce here off the lows. ONDS, ONDAS, and a name that is watched a lot here. Apparently, they've received some kind of NASA contract. I looked at the notice. I didn't see their name immediately, so if I do see more details, I'll let you know. But just be aware this is circulating. ONDS apparently receiving a contract from NASA. Back to you.
Warrior, what's up to you in the chat, man? Yeah, you're right. I remember that even when I was buying it, there was some hatred on the channel here on the chat for IREN. And I don't really know why. So Arun, let me know what your thought.
Arun say?
I don't know. He does. I do remember looking, and you know, I try not to look at the chat. I look at the chat a lot, but for investment advice, I mean, I feel like it's important that you make your own sort of investment thesis, and if you do or do not like a stock. But I thought I was buying something a little more conservative as well with Constellation. And that one has been a shit show as well. So that's gone from 280 all the way down to 240, and this one's been a disaster, almost the same way as IREN. So I don't really, you know, get it, but there they go to the downside as we thought this power was going to be an issue, and it's just I'm losing.
Dude, look at this day here, man.
With this one,
15%.
Yeah, well, SNDK. I mean, you know, I'm not going to call these things a house of cards, but
it is.
I feel like it is a little bit right there around a house of cards.
Just move like.
What's up? There's Ozan is going to meet Sharif around 6:30 for dinner. Yo, what's up, Ozan?
Nice, Ozan.
There you go, man. Say shout out to that. There he is, right there, Ozan. Here we go. Hold on a second. This is for Ozan. Tell Sharif we miss him a lot, and we hope that he is enjoying his time as... Actually, don't tell him that. We know he's enjoying his time. That is for sure. But you can tell him that he is missed, but he knows that as well. So shout out to Sharif and you, Ozan.
Like
there we go.
Waves always rolling. So stay in the game. Like, subscribe, and let's go.
Okay.
Why does it get red in the background there at the end? It's like, you know, I feel like it should go green, like the Incredible Hulk.
We talked about that yesterday.
Out there. So, this mic, I gotta fix this mic.
All right, fix your mic while I ramble on a little bit here about some of the cryptocurrency names. I mean, look, Bitcoin up 2% here, Katina, man. Like, who would have? I mean, no one would have guessed that out of all the spaces here today that you'd see the most strength within MSTR, Ethereum, BMNR, Coin, Circle. Circle got slapped around the other day.
Slacked is a good one.
Yeah,
Slacked.
Yeah, slapped, and whatever else goes along with that. Oh, I thought this went negative.
Because US, I know why. Do you see that? It's USDE. Did you see that symbol? The stablecoin X?
No.
This was actually on our watch list today. USDE.
Oh, okay, for Circle. Okay, yeah. I understand why Circle is getting hit off of that, but Robinhood and those other names are up. But yeah, Circle was down 13% or 15% at one point.
Yeah, well, there was that new stablecoin that sort of was supported there by.
So like that's the thing. Like, how littered? So we got USDT, we have USDC, and then now USDE.
Yeah.
So I mean, what are we going to go down the alphabet? What are we going to go down the alphabet here and just?
Yeah, but it's not the easiest thing. I mean, it's got to be backed by currency. That does take, it has to be one-to-one against the U.S. dollar.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's not the easiest thing to just create. It's not. But once you are in that ecosystem, I think there's a lot of value in USDC. I mean, that's what and Tether and basically all of those names. I think
it just makes everything so much easier.
I love it, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's the best idea.
No, I think it's great. I mean, to get in and out. Look. To the point that we said before, and I'm still a little surprised that Robinhood's moving around. Obviously, Robinhood's moving around on the Trump account. And the bounce a little bit in Bitcoin. But I used to open up my account all the time, to look at crypto. And I'm like, maybe I'm more scared now to do it, but I'm not open. I have not even thought about getting more Solana or Cardano or Ripple. And heard you guys talking about Ripple XRP down to $1.
Why would you? There's no reason.
But this is what I mean. I'm not even excited about it anymore.
No, it's not.
I don't know. Maybe that's the right time to buy. When everyone's all hyped up about crypto and we're not.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the time. Or sorry. When nobody's hyped up about crypto, maybe that's the time that you step in and start to buy, so that when the stories start to come and everybody floods it, then you're already long and you can ride the wave back to the upside. But I still do think that there's a lot of traders out there that feel that crypto and Bitcoin is a long-term story. So I feel like there's a lot of nervous hands right now not pushing the buttons to get in. People are much more comfortable buying the Microns of the world or the Sandics or something like that, where they're gamblers, but they can get behind why they're buying it. I think Bitcoin's lost a little bit of its way there as far as is it a store of value? Are we holding it against a NASDAQ, worry? But the NASDAQ's down 2% today and Bitcoin's up. So we're going to go over.
Sorry, before we go over there, how would something of a store of value lose 60%? I just don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem, right? I mean, that used to be part of this talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Was if you're in Venezuela or you're in, there's been a few countries that have turned over, right?
It made it their legit currency.
Bolivia, right?
It made it.
Or when Israel, we're starting having the Israeli shekel dropped. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't 50%, but dropped, and people were like, "Oh man," because what's going on with that dollar shekel? If you just converted that into Bitcoin, then you would have had X amount of Bitcoin and not worried about your current currency, right?
So it drops 50%.
Yeah, and the whole thing is, man.
And then Iran wanting payment in Bitcoin as well too.
Fiat currencies across the world. With monetary policies and everything that's been happening, they're really getting beat up. So let's go back over to the desk with Adair and find out what she's up to.
Yeah, just be aware here, guys. Couple headlines. BX on watch. Blackstone's QTS apparently abandoning a massive data center in Virginia. The other story involves MU. Nothing massive here, but comments from Citrini. If you remember Citrini, that research post that basically indirectly or tangentially led to that big fall in some of these SaaS stocks in terms of what AI would look like looking forward here. Anyways, regardless here, Substack reporting that Citrini, or in its Substack post, Citrini says that there are rumors of memory efficiency breakthroughs. So keep an eye here on MU with that in mind. Back to you.
I was thinking about a trade here. Yeah, Micron's having a day, that's for sure. Micron right now, actually, Micron's holding out better than some of the other ones. Down 7% is Micron. Our Google, though.
Mm-hmm.
I like the long, we like the long, my guy. But right here, what about short? But we do have VWAP just kicking out right here. So I think there could be some sort of a talk here about shorting Google into 359, especially with the market right now well away from VWAP, not even close right now in the market to VWAP. So I do feel like a push in here from the NQs could be happening as we push back down to the lows. We're too far. I don't think that's too much of an epic run to get back to VWAP. And we're plugged into the news. We've got Adair here. If anything does happen, obviously we'll kick that out. But right there, 159, not 159. That'd be horrendous if Google got to 159. But 3.
I would just buy it. I would just dump everything in my portfolio and buy it.
Your portfolio would already be dumped, though. That's the problem. So I don't really know what to do. But yeah, 360, 359, a good little level there for Google. I mean, thinking about that short for sure. We did get that question about when to buy Tesla. Looks like, yeah, man. I mean, there's that. Remember we said we'd check this back. And I mean, look, the market's not doing a whole heck of a lot, but this doesn't surprise me either. We are having some resistance down here at our 200 period moving average. So yeah, potentially this looks better to me now to go back into the short potentially, and back in. I've been short this name all day, but right into there because now we have some candles that we can play off of, right? When you're moving up into it, and I'll take a line from my friend Brian here, Shannon from Alpha Trends, and that is like, none of these really mean anything until we see what happens around the actionable spots, right? And so it's like you're in the penalty box until you're out. And right into here, it's like you can come up to the 200 period moving average. If you short there because, hey, every time it gets a 200 period moving average, I have to act on it. No, you don't have to. It's just telling you right here that maybe after 200 periods or 200 minutes of data, these are the average prices. So right now, you're looking at it in 200 period, it's just over 3 hours. It's not like, 60 minutes in an hour. So right there, this is the average price that we're looking at right now, 393 and change over the day. So we're gonna have a quick look and see what happens in and around 294 to 394 to 394.50 here on TSLA. So maybe, and we said that if you were long, this would have not been a horrible idea to get some out in and around that area. I'm going to stick by that. And then one more talk, and then we got to go over to Adara at the window to the wall. We are going to watch out for SpaceX. And I still want to get short, but not right here. I'm going to wait. See that little top wick right into here?
Yeah.
I have an offer. Well, I don't have one now, but I think I'm going to, against 160. Okay. Let's just see. 160 has been a key level. If it comes up there, we won't get hit that hard, but we will take a shot. 159.50, shorting into 160. That's going to be the trade for me on SpaceX. All right, you want to say anything? You want me to throw it back?
We go right there, my boy.
Let's go back over to Adara and see what she's up to. She's got a lot of infographics, and here's one of them.
Window.
Here is a Independence Day themed update here for To the Window, To the Wall, where I pull up an infographic chart window and we put it on the wall. Now, every once in a while, an infographic series comes along that just really, I think is going to be really fun. And then I get into it and I realize, what have I signed myself up for? This is it. So basically, you guys may recall, if we go back to mid to late May 2026, so about a month and a half or so ago, I did an infographic series just looking at all the public companies that were pursued in any legal way by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. You can find this on Exit TV Research. So when I did that series, I realized how many public companies are pursued by these state AGs. So I thought, why not go through all 50 states and see every time they mention public companies? So that is what I did. I went through every single state's press releases so far this year, so just 2026. I didn't go further than that. And oh my gosh, lots of public companies are getting sued or getting different types of legal action. So that's what I found here. I've been researching this kind of for the past month or so, but I really tried to grind this out so I get it for you all for Independence Day, which is when this will be posted on Exit TV Research. Let's explain these terms. So allegation is basically, if an allegation is made against a company. In this case, I think really the only allegation we had so far this year was against a company and that company I believe would have been OneMain Financial, and the allegation in this case had to do with price fixing or something. No, sorry, that was it was Novartis for price fixing. But then you've got suit, so that's if there was a lawsuit or any update to a lawsuit. Statement, just a statement made here about the outcome of an investigation, about maybe the intent to invest. It's pretty neutral statement here. Alert is when you're saying, hey, consumers, watch out, there's an issue with this company. Request is when you're asking either a company or you're asking a wider body, for example, the DOJ, to investigate. And then a letter is when you send a letter to a company being like, hey, we have an issue with this thing you're doing. Please look into it. It's slightly different from a request. Yes, guys, I know I just split hairs here for this. Settlement is when you make a settlement with a company. Investigation is an investigation into a company. And then a win is when you win a lawsuit against a company. I know I had a lot of explanations here. So let's get into this. What's really interesting is a lot of these, and mostly here for North Carolina, Wisconsin, Connecticut, and Illinois, a lot of these lawsuits were just kind of like coalitions. So a whole bunch of states get together and they all co-sign each other on a lawsuit. That's what happened with a lot of these Meta and Google related lawsuits. It's also what happened with Live Nation. So again, guys, just to clarify, these 6 states here are the states that had the most actions against public companies so far this year. So what's interesting here, though, was the top 1 and top 2. So both of these had 16 actions each, Texas and New York, respectively. They had some coalition involvement, but a lot of their stuff was not related to coalition. So Ken Paxton here, who I already mentioned, he sued Celsius entirely on his own here over caffeine and harming Texan children. He had some issues with Netflix. He had some issues here as well with AstraZeneca settlement. This Cal-Maine settlement was a whole bunch of different states, but he had his own separate Cal-Maine settlement as well. So he's a unique one here, Ken Paxton. Then you've got Letitia James here, Attorney General of New York, and she's got a Gemini and Coinbase lawsuit that a lot of the other companies weren't really involved with here. She also had this Instacart letter over some of their pricing. And then, again, a lot of these, the rest of these are coalitions. So one other thing I wanted to note, because I realize it's a lot of information, I'm also just processing the amount of time as I stand here that I spent on this. But some of these logos here too, it's not like individual actions. Some of these letters were sent as a group. So a lot of these payment companies like Sezzle, Block, PayPal, Citigroup, MasterCard, Visa, that was a group letter here that was basically like, hey guys, please try to block the sale of vapes through your platforms, right? So anyways, I hope this makes some kind of sense. There will be more infographics made with this data, but like I said, I've literally just kind of put all the data in a database. It's been a lot of research. I hope this makes sense. I hope it is appreciated, and I do wish you all a very, very happy Independence Day. I will see, you guys can find this on Independence Day on Saturday when I post this. And with that, that is a very verbose, maybe too intense update of To the Window, to the Wall, as we send you back over to the guys.
Thanks.
A little intense, but no, great information there. Check it out. I mean, we always talk about it. Go to @TraderTV Research. You can find those out. And as Adara mentioned, it'll be posted up there tomorrow. Lots of infographics. I mean, Adara loves doing them, and we love her doing them. So we do now have those up. Not that one, but many others posted there. And it will be soon up there at Trader TV Research. And another thing you can go to is our campus program. And right there, if you do scan that QR code right in front of you right now, you will be part of the campus program application process. If you want to become a real trader and use the same software we're using, be able to take all these shorts and all these small cap names and all these different markets. You'll be starting off in the United States markets for sure. So make sure you're available for the continuous trading session here in the United States. However, this program is not available for those of you that live in the United States. Is it available for everybody else? You are trading during the U.S. market hours. So make sure whatever country you're in that you are able to trade during the U.S. market hours. This program is designed to help you master, of course, the market microstructure, the different marketplaces and venues that are available to you, the different order types. You hear Joe and I talk about market on open orders or pegged orders, limit orders, midpoint orders, everything like that. And then you learn the execution on a professional side versus retail and amateur side and get the flow state. We talked about with Obi there, reading the tape and whatnot. Space is limited. Make sure you do apply here right now. And look, we have 30-40% of our audience outside of the United States. So make sure that you guys do click on that and get involved. And hey, worst case, go check it out, see if it's interesting for you or not. It's the Real Trading Campus program. And it's just called campus because it's like a school. Like, you go, you're in school and it's kind of like we're treating it. I mean, look, it's called like it is. It's basically, we are on prop floor right there and it's a way to get involved. Check out the software, get the training. And a lot of other prop floors, it's just kind of like, here, we'll take your money and we'll run, right? And this is a completely different situation. It's just your time. You got to get in there, have an application process, not accepting everybody. And then at that point, we'll, weed it out. And it's not Joe and I, it's another team that does that. And they'll be able to tell you and answer all of your questions.
They met Lars. They never met Chris. And they met Wayner before, too. They met Wayner and Larsy.
You guys can go check those guys.
Larsy was on not too long ago as well.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't think I was here when Lars was on there. But, yeah, great, great talk there about Real Trading Campus. And make sure you do go check it out, yo. All right, man. Tesla's still trying to go. And there it is, man. Now we're trying to break higher. And now you're getting some confluence here between the 25 and the 200. So the 25 period and the 200 period both coming together here around 390, 350s. So we'll have to wait to see if that winds up holding. But look how choppy it is right now, right? I mean, I think it's one thing to say, hey, I like the long or I like the short here, but something's got to break. And I don't think it's really worth it right now. I think you'd get stopped out a lot if you were playing this top. I mean, you wouldn't have got stopped out yet, but that's a slippery slope. As right now, Tesla battling its demons to try to figure out what it wants to do today, now down 7%. That Google that we talked about earlier, that's kind of moving around, but it's, back up to VWAP. And we said we'd have a look, at this near VWAP, and it seems like it ran away from it there. It went down about 50 cents, and now you're right back up. And with the futures maybe coming back down in, you could find yourself into an opportunity here with that trade. So maybe have a look at Google, trying to go short off of 359. I don't hate that trade right now, but it's going the other opposite of the market, which gives me a little bit of worries there. But you can't always get everything, right? I mean, we talked about a name like a Palantir. How about a SoFi that we were trading today, right? Another name, like, again, really like SoFi there. There's no doubt about that, but it just didn't really fall into our lap here today as we tried to go long early. And it was working, and even into here, we offered 10s and missed it. Realistically, I should have another tick there, but it would have only been for 10%, as I really did think SoFi had a chance to moon today, and it does not. I mean, I thought it was a good trade there, breaking some of those highs, and then on the daily and starting to head back up to the upside. And then we lost it right there when it broke the 200 period. And since then, it's just been downside for SoFi. So there's an example of a 200 period moving average that we haven't seen in a minute. And there's the break higher. So maybe SoFi does have some abilities to get going a little bit here off of $18. We can see if that does happen. In another name that we looked at this morning that I didn't trade off of, and I want to check back here because it's right here right now, and that's BSP, and that's Bending Spoons. And yesterday's IPO came through, and what an IPO it was, man. I mean, you could have got long there at $30, I think it was 31 flat. The low was 30.70, so 30 cents worth of a breather, and then it just ripped up about $12 there into 42. We saw that a couple times, and then right at the close down, and then we saw this movement, right? And I wrote down on the note, what about 36? And that actually held. 36.50 was great until it wasn't. Now you've got 34.50 there. So Bending Spoons, not a great day 2, but a great day 1. So we'll see if that can wind up holding here. And again, they're an app developer, but also they buy, used assets, used apps that are maybe, I think Vimeo, Vimeo? Is that in music or video chat, something like that? But anyways, they're sponsoring that now and trying to turn that one around. So there's a few apps that are underneath there.
You see what your boy Dan Ives is up to? I know you heard that he's leaving.
I heard he took the bag somewhere, to go and got paid by some financial company.
Yeah, so apparently this is what he got going on.
Yeah, what is it?
So he's leaving Wedbush after 8 years.
That's wild.
Looking to seek something along the lines. A firm, which I will be formally announced in the coming weeks, plans to provide proprietary research, strategic advisory services, capital raising, and investments across sectors, including, not the tech sector, energy, and financial. I've said he has also intends to continue covering technologies, stocks, and a research capacity, while helping build the broader business. Okay. I think he's probably the biggest tech bull I know. And I think rightfully so.
Tom Lee too.
Tom Lee's very big tech bull. I mean, hey man, IVES, right?
His.
You know what I mean? So here's his ETF over here, Danny Ives, not Johnny Ives there. Danny over here, down 10%. But I mean, since it came to market here, Sean, $25 all the way up to 37. From July of last year, you get 40%, which isn't bad whatsoever. I don't think I'd complain too much. There's some pretty hefty pullbacks in between.
I was on an X thing with Dan Ives.
Yeah, I remember.
Not too long ago.
That.
It's interesting to hear. His voice is like unmatched. Like you definitely recognize it.
You know who it was instantly. Just individuals.
Circle X. What do they have there? I don't know. Pods. I don't know what it was, but yeah, it was really fun when hearing him and talking to him.
Was he wearing? Did you see what he was wearing?
No, was this an audio thing?
Audio.
Whatever they call them on X there when you get together. And it's just an audio kind of meetup there. And a bunch of us were on there.
Yeah.
I can't remember anybody else other than Dan Ives, but there was somebody else, a female trader that's pretty popular. I can't remember who she is. But
what happened to, I guess it might probably not, what happened to your girl Danielle Shea, man?
Yeah, she's still at Simpler Trading, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, doing some option stock there and stuff like that. So yeah, we can have her back on maybe. But yeah, sometimes the different businesses change and, depending on who they work for, they don't necessarily they don't want to come on and promote different things. And
Absolutely,
so we just do that. And but we do have Steve Talman coming on pretty soon.
Yeah, where's Stevie?
Well, he's coming on. When he's coming on, I think it's 45. So 2:45, we'll have him on there, and we'll see what go on with him, and what he's been trading today and what he's thinking about some of these names. Basically, the only name that I'm still trying to look at Google. I mean, it looks like that would have been. Damn it. So we had a question this morning, remember? And it was like, how many times do you look at something? Spaces. Thank you, Ozan. Is that what I called it? I said circles. Yeah, spaces.
Close.
Close enough. But look, we had a question this morning, and it was like, Sean, how many times do you second guess yourself and then it winds up working? Yeah, well, here's another example. And I said that it's tough to always do that because I'm bad for that. Like, my wife will tell you 1,000 times over, like, I'm always like, should have we done that or should have we done this?
Yeah.
We made a decision.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I know. So, and I wish I had a better example because I don't really have one right now, but it's every day. So tonight when I go home, I'll remember it. Yeah. Oh, then I got to remember it till Monday.
But, really go, I wish I
Yeah, I know. It's just like, I can't remember what some of the things, like, for example, maybe like yesterday we had burgers, we barbecued them outside, so it's fine. Everything was great, but then even if it starts raining a little bit, I'll be like, oh man, I should have just had the burgers inside, and I knew it was gonna rain.
Something's happening with Apple here.
Oh yeah? What, ripping?
No, they have a volume spike, man.
My news service is not pumping in my ear. I'm gonna refresh it and see if we get it, because I don't know if they're taking a little bit of a break, but we can look at Apple right now. But and Neil talks about it all the time, and I think it's a very negative trait to be second guessing yourself, or whatever the word I'm looking for. That trait, it's not great. It's more about it has nothing to do with confidence. It's just like, don't always. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it's called. But
I think you should just be satisfied with the decision.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, don't always look at. It's like you don't want to look at others and say, well, I wish that, or why don't I have this, or whatever it is. But the word
you don't want to look at what could have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yeah, that's the stuff that you got to get rid of. But I'm bad about that.
Shout out to Coulda Been Records.
Yeah.
Other than that, guys, we're in a little bit of Apple, nothing crazy. If I'm gonna stick with a strong stock, I may as well see if we can grab something around the lows on this bad boy. Not working out for us right now, consistent lower highs. I thought we were going to make that push, but there's some form of volume. It's not translated on some of my other charting platforms, which is totally fine. But if it starts to break 307, then we'll just get out, man. We have no issues with that. Haven't been trading the tech names very well. I don't know about you, Katina, man. The winner for us today, which was small potatoes, pennies on the dollar, really, was that small cap gapper that was moving higher. Other than that, we took a hit bright and early on Meta, looking for the continuation on yesterday's trend. That wasn't the case. It just decided to sell off and give back the majority of its move. And we've seen this on multiple occasions, so I don't understand why I was expecting anything less. And it's almost like the earnings report, right? It's funny that I'm going to put this out there. I think that we should remove NVDA's earnings reports as classifying it as the Super Bowl of reports, because every time it stayed inside of its expected move over the past 4 quarters and proceeded to sell off after. So what do we watch? They call it the Super Bowl, and it's a little bit lackluster. If it went parabolic and broke the expected move on the majority of those occasions, I could get behind it. But what we've been seeing as of late is just so big, and the numbers are so big that the street doesn't really react to it how we're expecting it to.
The funny thing about that Super Bowl stuff, the Super Bowl is not even the best. The Super Bowls aren't even. Last Super Bowl wasn't even that great of a game.
Is it
last Super Bowl.
Very rare? Is it?
Yeah, it's very rare. It's like one of the best games of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
Super Bowl, but. To your point, I think you're 100% right. The Nvidia earnings were so important back in the day when nobody even really understood what
2.5 years ago.
Yeah, what it was all about.
Exactly.
When they were starting to, they had we're expecting $100 billion in revenue, and the next thing you know, they shot up like $500 billion.
The revenue is like 400% year
or 5x.
Next
thing you know, it's like, oh my God, what do we have here? And then everyone was ready for the next one and the next one. And they kept on performing and performing. But right now, it's just an interesting time for the space, and I just think you got to be very, very careful about Nvidia earnings. And but we're coming up to earnings, right? Bank earnings are very soon, actually. if I go into here and go into details, I think it's the end of this. Is it the end of this month or even before then? Let's go. JP Morgan's normally one of the first ones that starts
coming.
4 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, July 14th.
Yeah, 14th.
Yeah. So a couple weeks. So just in a couple weeks there, you're going to have bank earnings coming, and that's going to be 12 days. So that's going to be cool. Oh, dividend being paid in 4 days.
Get
ready to back the truck up on those dividends, Joe. You can buy yourself a cup of coffee there. But yeah, we'll wait to see what happens with that. What did you say? Apple is going crazy? It's not doing anything.
No, it's not doing. But look at this volume here. I don't know. It wasn't translated on anything.
We averaged into a little bit of SpaceX here. I don't know if it's going to be a good trade here, man, to be honest with you, this time around. I noticed that trades only, sure we got a good fill there. It's not like it's dramatic here, but not going down anywhere. But I just feel like you got to be careful. I don't, you're now above VWAP, all this kind of stuff. I mean, getting out, this is why we didn't average in until we got something that was really close to 60, because I'm not 100% sure that that's even going to be a trade up there. So we'll just be really light on this, and we'll take a shot and see what ends up happening with SpaceX. It's my #1 stock today. And I was telling this to either myself or I think maybe you were grabbing your food, but if I didn't have Tesla, we'd be positive today. And that's a shame, because we had lost there on Tesla. We actually basically pretty flat here on the SPY. We tried to go long earlier on the S&P, and that just didn't work. And eventually, once it broke that sort of low there, we got out. So that was like just sweat off our brow. Nothing too crazy there for that one. And then SoFi, we had that talk too. SoFi, we actually had on 4 or 5 units or so on this. So when it dropped out, thank you, Tiffany. When that dropped out, we lost on that one on SoFi. But again, getting out on the 200 period. And before we go to Steve, here we go.
We should ask Steve if he thinks we should denounce.
Yes, let's go. Nice move down. Denounce what?
NVDA as a Super Bowl of earnings.
Yeah, we can ask him that, and I think there's no better time to bring on Steve Talman right now from Trade the Pool. He is an analyst. He is a good friend of ours, and he is on the show right now. There he is. Hey, there's Steve. How's it going? You got a hat with an orange on it. Is that a Florida hat?
That's a Giants hat, man.
That's a Giants hat. You better believe it. I'm representing my
nice one. I didn't see the SF there. That's a good one there coming through. Like the Giants, you had the Yankees on. We're happy with the Giants on as well. So welcome. I don't know if you just heard what we were talking about there. If there was one earnings name out of everything, so we have in 12 days, we start with JP Morgan, all the bank starts, we get into another whole earnings season, which we get excited about, and I'm sure you do as well. If there's one name that you're looking forward to this next round of earnings, and I know I'm putting you on the spot. Maybe you could give us 1 or 2 names. Which one are you most interested in heading into this next quarter?
Well, you kind of took my pick. JPM's #1.
Oh.
Next up, I want to see Morgan Stanley, and I want to just see how the banking industry is doing as a whole, especially the guys who financed the SpaceX deal. I think that's the most interesting.
We don't normally talk about banking stocks or that sector with you, Steve. Why is JP Morgan, like for me, it would be one of these tech names that I'm really excited about. But why is the bank? You just mentioned SpaceX, but why the banking sector heading into this next round?
Well, I'm a little bit tentative about where the market's going next in the next couple of weeks, and I think that bank earnings could really help stabilize that. I think that they look good and they want to lead up, and I think that would help kind of guide the market in the right direction, even if we do get a little more downside in some of these tech names, or especially the semiconductor names. So looking for strength in the financials to kind of just lead the way and show the market you have nothing to be afraid of. Let's keep buying those dips.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you looking to buy a dip in a bank if it's a weak earnings, or maybe sell a rip because we're uncertain of the market? But I think you just answered that, looking to maybe buy on some weakness and get some money back into the financials. So I do like that kind of a call. Well, from a stable business like banking, right, somewhat stable anyways, where we can sort of foresee what's going to happen, to a name where we don't really have too much information about where it's going, and especially on a day like today, because we got great deliveries from Tesla, Steve. And I want to ask you about this because it's its worst day since last July. So we almost got to go back a year. Well, we do have to go back a year to find the last time Tesla was down 8+%. So that's what we're dealing with right now. It's Tesla on a horrible day, down 8%. And guess what? They had decent deliveries. The deliveries numbers beat expectations, and yet Tesla's still doing this. So what are we thinking about right here? I mean, I know that we cracked under the 200 period moving average and looking to get a little bit lower into some of these levels that we had seen in the last couple of weeks. But what's your take on Tesla? Are we staying away?
Do we care about delivery numbers? Is this even a car company? I'm not sure it is anymore.
Yeah, valid. Yep.
So for me, Tesla, I think it's at a really interesting spot. Pardon the messy chart here, but we are interacting with a long-term trend line, this uptrend line. We're still holding a higher low so far, but like you said, the rejection at the 200 is a little bit suspicious. And for me, my big level is 420.69. I wish I was joking, but that's the most responsive level I've seen on Tesla over the past year or so. So until we can reclaim it, I can't be a bull. That's where I'm thinking.
Yeah, we don't really love that, and you mentioned it already. I've been talking about it for a while. Like, if you're buying in Tesla stock because you think they have great cars, I mean, you've probably got to go back a couple decades before you make that kind of a call, right? I mean, hasn't been a car company that's moved on those numbers in at least a couple years, from what I can remember. But one company that is moving on numbers, and we can switch over. I'll give you a second. It's Rivian. I mean, Rivian today, RIVN. They had better deliveries, and they don't have much going on other than cars. I mean, they're working on their own autonomy and things like that. And I shouldn't say they have nothing else going on, not much else that I know of. But there's Rivian. It looks pretty good to me. You go back into February, where you had that little wick top of 1850. We made that again in April. We did it again here in the beginning of June. And today, we start off with a catalyst. And again, better delivery numbers. Their R2s are finally starting to roll out. And this doesn't look too bad for me on potentially a breakout again. Supported by VWAP, supported by the 200 period moving average. It looks like we're trying to get a little higher here on Rivian. Are we taking any of these car companies, or is there just more interesting things in the market to worry about other than what this looks like on a breakout?
I mean, I've been watching it. I was very impressed by the strength today. I didn't actually know what made it pop. I just saw the outlier, or the relative strength there. I love the chart long term. I was watching it last week when I thought it broke down. I didn't watch this hammer candle close, and now it's showing the strength out the upside. I think the only thing that capped this rally was simply the relative weakness in the market overall. So I'm definitely watching this one going forward. And I know you say they're just a car company, but I'm putting this in my robotics basket because I think that automation aspect is going to be the biggest selling point for these going forward.
Yeah, and they also actually have deals with Volkswagen, I believe, as well, to try to get some of their batteries and their charging equipment over there as well. All right, recently, and I'm just going to ask you about one more, and then I'm going to throw you back over to Joe, because yesterday we had a really interesting take on Meta. Yesterday was, wow, it was the talk of the town, and we were lucky enough, Joe and I both, to have these levels right into there. When we broke 600, we actually had it the first time, then we had it the second time, and it was $20+ winners there, and it was a fun time, and we were all really loving Meta. And then today happened, and I don't have any trades on it today, but yeah, man, it gave pretty much everything back here on Meta, and not looking great. Down to 586. Yesterday's we sort of started around 560. It's pulling back as now Zuckerberg's got to go find somebody to sell his compute to. Looks like you're trying to figure out all this CapEx, all this spend. But poor Meta, we saw a bump up when they announced the subscription model. We saw a bump up yesterday on the compute and that angle. Now maybe a new business for them, but it's come right back in. Look, I'm still long this name. I think a lot of us are, but I don't really like it anymore. It's Meta, and I don't know. If we can't get going on good positive catalysts, then what are we going to get going on Meta? What do you think about this name?
Man, I think you hit the nail on the head. If this catalyst is not enough to catch and hold, then what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'm looking at this and I'm looking at a similar move in BE, Bloom Energy. I got long this one yesterday. It popped 15% on good news after hours. Thankfully, I took some off, but man, it's back here under my buy price. And when you have this fast and loose price action on some of the leaders, I know Meta hasn't been a leader, but still, it makes me feel like we might be about to kind of break down. If you look at the weekly on Meta as well, it's a little bit spooky. It could very well be a distribution range, especially with this ugly top wick, despite it being a green candle. So a little ambiguity there, but I can't feel great about holding this. I'd be with you in that camp there.
Steve, what's going on, brother? Long time no talk. All right, man, I'm just going to do it. We're going to rip the Band-Aid right off. Let's talk a little bit about these memory names. Micron blowout quarter. They've been on parabolic runs. You go from Western Digital, SanDisk. Now, what is going on here? You're starting to see a little bit of a breakdown. Do you think that price is just catching up to valuations?
It's tough. It's good to see you, by the way. Yeah. It really is tough here with these. When they move so hard and so fast, day to day, week to week, every single minus 10% day, you got to be thinking, oh, this is the end. And then it rips like crazy the following day, following week on some other headline, usually something that we already knew. So in this case, I think we were getting punished overnight on the cost beat for the news that Apple was in talks to buy Chinese memory. I'm pretty sure we got that headline like a week and a half ago. So I think this is just kind of the name of the game, the state of things when, I mean, when you have an index that's so over leveraged like this. I mean, I know a lot of traders myself, and I'm sure there's a ton in Korea that are massively over leveraged and probably getting blown out, forced to sell today. So it's sketchy. I'm not calling a top, but I did pick up some MUZ today as a hedge. So take that for whatever you'd like it for, but I am a little bit short here.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, if we're talking about a bottleneck leading into mid-2027, then by all means, I think for individuals like myself who didn't participate in this run, I think that could be a good opportunity, considering we're down 20% plus in all of these names here, Western Digital, SanDisk, Micron, and if you're looking at DRAM, the ETF, down 25%, I think this could be a good opportunity in the near future for some individuals to get in on this dip buy. What do you think about that?
I am so split because I have been wrong in not buying every single dip. I bought some of them. I bought the one to 350 and I bought the one to 500. I didn't buy all of them and I wish I did. So it's hard to say this 10th time is the wrong dip to buy. You know, I don't want to put my name on that call. What I am saying is I'm just going to wait for a little bit better structure. And I just know if we are, you know, at a little air out period, then MUZ is going to keep me a lot safer than most other things. I still think chips go higher. I still think memory goes higher. Like you said, the bottleneck is not going to resolve in the next couple months. But man, can these pullbacks be rough. So I want to see a little bit of strength on the MU and probably buy on a recovery of the 1,000 because that's when my hedge is going to go red. And then all my longs in the semis and software space are going to be quite happy, I think.
I like that you brought up chips. I'm in the same camp as you. I like that you brought up chips. Now, NVDA, one to not create, but design them and ship them off to Taiwan Semi, who actually fabricates them. What is going on with this name? I mean, we got the custom ASICs, these application-specific chips coming into play, but if we're talking about that, Broadcom is down 20% too, and Marvell taking a pretty hefty hit as well. So what is going on with this chip trade right now?
I think it's just getting aired out across the board. I don't think this is a reflection of the fundamentals because the fundamentals are still stellar across the board on just about any of these names. We saw just time after time on earnings this quarter. Everything is booked up. The projections are great. You know, there's a lot of room in this trade if the market doesn't get scared. Of course, we're running hot on a short-term bias, but that's why I think you're talking about looking for these dips as buying opportunities. It's just a game of hot potato because eventually it'll crack. These are all cyclicals for the most part, and they will take hefty downside moves eventually. I'm just not seeing it quite yet. And I think we got a few more pushes left.
There's a name that I want to talk about specifically, and I just mentioned NVDA. If we can look at the technicals, what are you thinking here? Because I see a head and shoulders, and we're right back to our breakout zone. I'm getting a feel that we might head into the mid-180s here, maybe even 170 worst case scenario. What do you think from a technical standpoint on what we got going on with NVDA?
Well, I don't particularly like what you're saying, but I can't really disagree either. I'm a long-term investor.
Yeah, exactly. So me too. Yeah.
You know, so I don't like say it ain't so, but it could be. So, you know, we got in a little bit early. It was in this little pullback here to 200. I got in like 205, 207, something like that. So I'm a little underwater. I'm not freaking out about it, but it doesn't feel great. I did not add the 200 yet. I'd like to see a higher low and a break of a reclaim of the 9-day actually to get involved. It's right at 200. I could have taken my spot at the 200. Today, I'm not kicking myself too much. I think I'd probably get another chance. But realistically, I was hoping we would get a straight up squeeze off of this kind of failed curled top move that we got, just like we did, sorry for the lag here, in this kind of setup down here. This curled top tried to wash out and then ended up squeezing shorts. I thought we'd get the same move. It's wilting now. So I think that your spot is good. There's a big gap there where it kind of broke out from this breakaway trade with the rest of semis, but it's just not as strong as the rest. So I am in a little bit of Nvidia for the kind of mean reversion play on chips. But as usual, buying the laggard, it wasn't the play. I should have just been dip buying MU.
I like how you mentioned the point of buying the laggard because it was falling behind AMD. We're watching this name go parabolic, and it's like what's going on? We eventually got that $200 break, climbs up to 238, and then it just breaks right down, going right back almost into the middle of the range once again. Now, that's fantastic. I completely agree. I'm a long-term investor in NVDA, and I always will be. It's just not looking great right now. But what's also not looking great, even though we're getting a little bit of a bounce right now, is the cryptocurrencies here, Steve. What do you think about Bitcoin? What are we thinking about Ethereum? It's pretty ugly. We're down 60% in Ethereum. We're down 55% in Bitcoin. Do you think it's just part of the halving cycle and it's going to take a little bit longer for us to recover? Or do you think it's just there's shiny new toys out there within the memory names that we're just putting crypto to the side for now and we'll pick it back up once we get bored, and that just that cyclical effect of the market?
You know, it's tough to say. The one thing I do know is that I'm glad that I haven't been DCAing this, because I was a bull up near the top when it was looking good. And, you know, it's just been really rough. These are a very messy chart here, but what I'm kind of seeing is this potential slanted head and shoulders. I don't know if it's going to play out. We are at an interesting spot. I'll take off my drawings here. We are at an interesting spot, just trading into the 200-week moving average. And that always is a cause for pause. You know, maybe we are getting a kind of I think ICT traders call them turtle soups, basically a failed breakdown where we go below this big flush out wick and then start squeezing shorts. Maybe I'm not seeing it. I need proper structure of the flush out and then a higher low, just like that there, to get involved. So if we get this flush out, pop into a higher low, we could set up an inverted head and shoulders of sorts. Maybe, maybe like that. And we can look somewhere in that 66, 67 zone for a potential right shoulder. Till then, I'm not touching them.
I see you at 29. Sorry, Sean. I see you at 29,000 there marked on your chart. I know a lot of people talking about 30,000 potentially there in Bitcoin too. So tougher look in the crypto.
I'm sitting here because we did get that highlight there about there's Zuckerberg talking a little bit there.
There you go.
Not super happy with the way things have been performing lately. So I started to go a little short there on Meta, but not really working out right now. All right, Steve, we got to let you go soon, but give us a name. I mean, everyone's always looking to say, hey, what is Steve looking at? One of the best guys we know in the game as far as charting is concerned. So, you know, what's breaking out? What's on your radar? And is there anything that you're sort of telling people now to look out for? Something that maybe you just talked about, maybe going a little short in the memory space, but what are you looking at? Can you give us something specific?
Sure. I'm going to keep it real simple, guys, because it's easy to get convoluted on the dip, try to figure out what the heck to buy. What's strong today?
Right.
IGV, software, Microsoft.
Right.
Microsoft's actually green today. So this is the top buy for me. I'm looking for IGV to be making a higher low here on a weekly chart. I don't know if it's going to do this, but I sure would like it. So my top play, Microsoft, I've started buying early. We're getting a weekly reclaim of the 200-week, most likely here. So I think this is a screaming buy, a nice swipe out of the lows. It's a high-quality company, and it's been punished. So if we're looking for lifeboats, if we're looking for the rotation trade, if we're looking for some of the heat to come off of the check cashers in the semiconductor industry, maybe some of that money rotates back into the check writers in the software as a service. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah,
I mean, we saw even Palantir even battling back a little bit there over the last couple of days as well. So we do like that, the IGV. And you can even play the IGV if you didn't want to pick one name. But Microsoft, the top holding, I believe, in the IGV. So thank you, Steve. Steve Tileman from Trade the Pool. You want to let people know you got any calls going on after this? Anything you want to tell everybody about?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be going right into Power Hour over on Trade the Pool's YouTube channel. If anyone would like to follow me over there, you can just search Trade the Pool on YouTube and we'll pop right up on the live tab there. As always, you can find me at Steve Tileman on Twitter, SteveTeilmann, and give me about 10 minutes. I'm going to go run over there and update my Discord server link because I think last time it expired. So wait 10 minutes and then try to get into my Discord server from that bio, and you'll be good to go.
Great, thank you. That's Steve Tileman. Go check him out on all of that and give him a couple seconds to update his Discord. So thanks, Steve. We'll get you next week. Happy 4th of July. Enjoy your day off tomorrow. And stay out of trouble, and we'll see you next week.
Go JPM.
Likewise, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Steve. We'll go over to Adara. Oh, there he is.
Keep an eye here, guys, on META. Reuters reporting that apparently there was an internal town hall at Meta during which CEO Mark Zuckerberg told staff that their developments of AI agents hasn't accelerated in the way we expected over the last couple months. Now, this is significant because META has spent a lot here with CapEx or promised a lot on CapEx. Again, META CEO Mark Zuckerberg warning that agent development hasn't quite accelerated the way the company hoped. Back to you.
I mean, thanks, Adara, for that story. And, I heard it too, same kind of ways there. I just started going short, and this was a very, very small, look, it's easy to say like when you lose, okay, we didn't put on that many shares, but we didn't. When it came back up into this level, so we averaged in a little bit, we got stopped out there. We basically took a couple slices and dices in there, and we've lost on it, but we have basically, just to tell you guys, like a quarter of a unit. Like I'm not trading this very heavily when you get those kind of stories, and especially when you get volume spikes. It's just when I'm hearing like things aren't going that well or not participating the way we thought it would, things aren't growing as fast as we thought. Like, to me, those negative words, I think we were right, but you could see right here, we talk about algos and everybody getting word of things before it's actually even broadcasted out. So, sometimes you got to give it a little bit of time, and that's why we just kept on taking pot shots at it, because you know what? The thing is, if he's on a town hall here and internal memos and all this kind of stuff, there could also be positive things that are said as well, right? And so just like that, like he could right now be announcing something else. The next thing you hear about is, go ahead.
I think this might have already happened, though. I think this is like past tense reporting.
Yeah. So it's going through the report and figuring it all out. But sometimes what I was sort of getting at, and as opposed to what Adair was saying there, if it was live or not, is the fact that you never really know what the story is going to be. Okay. Adair has more information. It's not great, apparently. Here it is right here. 2026 company reorg wasn't as clean as it could have been. Yeah, okay, so this is what I mean. Like, when I'm seeing this kind of information, I'm thinking negative. But the stock's not really, it's kind of right back to where it was before a lot of this had happened. So this is why, again, I think the best.
But we knew morale was low. Like, we've heard of that before coming through.
But the reorg didn't go that well. So did they get rid of the wrong people? To your point, did people fight them on it? Is there,
exactly.
Some sort of legal battles going on? I don't really know what the story is.
Like, listen, I forget what they call it, but in the NFL, you have to hit certain goals in order to get paid.
Yeah, like performance metrics.
Performance metrics, right? So do you think it would have been smart or strategic of Mark Zuckerberg, instead of throwing $300 million there, all these hundreds of millions, poaching talent away from other AI startups and other companies, that he involved some form of incentive, like, hey, performance obligations, like you need to hit this goal in order to get this payout, instead of just throwing all this money away. And all the superintelligence lab has spit out right now is MuseSpark. And you asked me the other day, what is MuseSpark?
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No one knows what MuseSpark is. Exactly. But
so why are we talking about it? Because that's the one thing.
Well, because that's what he spent all this money in order for them. And this is what this is the first product that superintelligence lab has spat out, is MuseSpark. And everybody's like, what is this?
Anybody know what it is?
No.
But no, it was Obi apparently. Yeah, it wasn't with me. But I don't know. So obviously Obi, myself, and you. I don't know anything, but we do know that they were trying to change it up a little bit with their organization of the subscription models. But this was company.
Like this absolutely company, and we've been talking about this. I don't know. Like
now it's all the money on SpaceX.
That's good. It's just coming out like he's just trying. They're in rescue mode right now.
Seems like that.
Yeah, they're in recovery mode. It's like we don't really know what to do. The fact that he's getting involved with the prediction markets now. You're adding
like what's up with that? That's right.
Right, like paid tiers on Instagram, understandable, but such a pivot to the point where you're getting involved with prediction markets shows you that it's probably not as clean under the hood as what you're expecting. And to my point of saying no one knows what MuseSpark is and why it took so long, it's like, I remember when the article came out, Sean, it's like, okay, cloud providing isn't off the table, it's on the table. It should have been on the table the minute you decided to go through this crazy CapEx and deplete all your free cash flow. Like that should, in my opinion, I've been saying this for quite some time, and it's unfortunate that it's falling into the...
we both own Meta shares, and it's too bad that you've lost his way a little bit.
My third largest holding.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Sorry about that, but maybe we get it back.
But there's nothing to be sorry about. It's just
just sorry that we're losing on these positions, right? But there it goes right now. Look at that. So we just got a little bit of a cover there. This is in 1 minute. So obviously something else has now happened where it's battling back right now. So we just stop out. The minute you break that sort of the 200 and the 50, we're getting out. So out there. So we will slap an L there. We tried it. News coming in. Look, man, it's the power hour right now. It's on to a weekend. Not much going on. We thought we would take a dance here in Meta, but there goes Meta, right? Maybe there's something going on right there right now. Right here, going through this 55.87 right now. We'll see if that can get a little bit higher as it's starting to go. And, just a little bit of talk here as well. Like, there's our SpaceX. Yeah, that's internal town hall.
Yeah. So worried in early
He has
2026
some
that
of the
we're
ideas
going
right
to,
there,
yeah,
so
it's across the board.
Yeah, as this all comes through, man, we'll work around with it. But yeah, SpaceX, man, we just shorted that right before we went on the air with Steve, right? I mean, it might have even been as we were there, and I said that we're going to go short there against 160. So that's 50 cents worth of a shot. It came back in. We get back onto the short here on SpaceX, and it just goes to show you, man, it's my #1 stock today. We should have just stayed on that one, and we didn't. We moved around, and now we just took a couple shots there on Meta. Maybe Meta's breaking higher right here. So yeah, it looks like the news story is not stopping and it's still going up just a little bit higher now for Meta. Wow, 587 going higher here as Zuckerberg's still going on here in this memo. Yeah, it's the same. So I'm hearing it in my ear. Yeah, just top executives back in 2026 said that they were maybe a little slow on the AI front. Just listening still. Yeah, a lot of the AI capabilities haven't come to fruition yet, is what I just heard in my ear. So there are more things being leaked right now with this story. So Meta just went up $8. They're 583 to 588. Sorry, $5 there in a straight line, and now it's trying to pull back just a little bit on Meta. I think we'll stay away from it, to be honest with you. Now it's just we'll keep looking at it. I don't mean stay away in that range, but look what happened here, man. The 200 period, we had talked a little bit about it, but talk is cheap if you don't do anything about it. But there it is, man, 394 right off your 200 period. We said that it was giving us some areas to short off of, and that is exactly what it did do. So now you're down about a 250 or so off of that. August, what's going on over there, August? Yeah. Will it recover? Depends on what your stocks are, right? I mean, I think there is a good chance for these stocks to recover from today. As we said, man, there's blood in the streets for sure. Like a name like Marvell down 12%, right? I mean, that's not going to be good pretty much for anybody's account. Tesla down 8, ARM down 8, MU down 6, right? MU down 7%, sorry, as we continue to go. TQQs, who cares? Roblox down 6, Intel down 7%. So that's getting worse and worse by the minute here. Look at Intel, boom, downside, right? AMD down today. AMD down today. So yeah, like as this market continues to breathe, I think you got to understand that these are living and breathing markets. And, every day doesn't mean what's going to happen the next. And we can't, you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater a little bit here. I think it's still important, as Steve just said there too, with Nvidia, when Joe was asking about it, and that is like, are we done? Are we cooked on Nvidia? Like, what exactly is going on there? And it's kind of like, well, we all like the story behind this AI race, and we know that there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers, but you can't have these kind of up days without having these kind of down days. I mean, you got to take the good with the bad, right? I mean, if we were throwing our account out right here at 450 when AMD went down here thinking, oh my God, what have we done? Well, you missed then the run up to 580. And if you throw it out today, you may miss that run back to 580 again. But without that crystal ball, I do think we've been talking about like a name like J&J. I'm going to go to Adair in 1 second. Get into some different names. And we have done that on 220, 225 or so on J&J when it was battling right back into this area about a month ago, and now reaping the rewards here as there's been a turnover in what people are trying to buy. More push to value, less push to this sort of AI boon. So yeah, man, I don't think you're cooked, but I do think that today would have been a good day to sell yesterday. I don't know if you want to sell in a down market, down 2.5%, but that would be up to you. And Adara has something else. I'm going to guess it's more Meta.
Yeah, so again, Sean, I'm still not seeing anything of the headlines that I'm seeing circulating that is like really super positive or exciting here for META. One thing they did say, again, this is just being reported, that Mark Zuckerberg said this at a town hall, so not confirmed, coming from Reuters. Apparently, Zuckerberg said, quote, the bets the company has made on its reorganization haven't come to fruition yet. And then he also said, though, that top executives were worried in early 2026 that they weren't going to move fast enough on AI. So, again, nothing like super positive or exciting here. He also already said that the reorganization wasn't as clean as it could have been, quote unquote. So the idea that these bets they've made haven't come to fruition yet may be a little bit concerning here. Back to you.
Yeah, I think that's it, right? I think it is a little concerning. But, Zuckerberg does have a way of, I guess, he doesn't really hold back. I mean, this is an internal memo. So I think we might want to wait to hear some kind of confirmation or something, to make sure that maybe a clarification on this. And, sometimes things are misunderstood. And I'm not trying to make light of it or excuses on it. But, when memos get leaked, I think we got to be careful about how to interpret them. But, that's another discussion for another day maybe on Meta. And I think what we talked about with Steve is just something there where yesterday we had a huge bump, and it's just like if people actually believed that this was a change of, sort of giving them that go ahead now that people can go in there and start to buy. I mean, we looked at Meta's PE yesterday, it's 22. Like it's below market. So it's like you can either buy the S&P is more expensive than a Meta right now. And that doesn't, for the growth and everything and for the user count and everything that Meta has, it's kind of surprising that the market is really hitting it as hard as it is. But I do like, and I want to take Steve's, not word for it. I mean, the market is what the market's doing, and it's why not think about some Microsoft at some point. You haven't missed the boat, right? I mean, I think that no matter where, and we just talked about this before, don't have FOMO about what other people are doing or what price other people are in at. If you had bought into some support there, of course, that would have been genius. That goes back to March. And look, I could show you a lot of examples, and Meta, we just had one, where if you bought every single time it looked like support, you'd be in trouble. But this time it looks like we've held, just like right here. You might have thought that this was going to hold into here before like this sort of happened, and then whoosh, that fell back in. And right here, you might say, well, that might be the bottom that held, and it didn't. So you got to be careful on making those decisions. But yeah, Microsoft with the IGV definitely seems to be catching a little bit of a bid these days. And there it goes, Microsoft to the high side. So let's buy Microsoft instead of Meta. I think that would make a little bit of sense. And you don't want to catch falling knives. You might want to catch something that's back on the come up, right? Okay. And Meta is not, and Microsoft is. Joe, let's have a quick look at this. Well, last time we refreshed this, it was 31% this morning, so based on yesterday. Then we get that number this morning, the jobs number, and apparently not great number there. And that started the market, took the market up to 0.7 on the NASDAQ. Now we're down 2.5%. So let me refresh this.
Oh, man, I don't even have any of these things.
So I kind of just didn't do as much as I had hoped there. July now, 20% chance for a rate hike. So I think the market's not going to like, I mean, this is not rocket science again. The market will not like a rate hike, but that's looking more and more likely now. It was 31% yesterday, 20% right now, and it was 16% earlier this morning. So let's just wait. I mean, it's July the 29th. So they're not, what is it, the 2 weeks before Fed Adara? Or when do they go into their...
Pardon?
When does the Fed go into their quiet?
I believe a week, but it's interesting because I actually haven't seen anyone on the calendar very much at all. And that could at least partially be because there's now a culture, thanks to new Fed Chair Kevin Warsh, that is basically kind of encouraging not giving any forward guidance.
Yeah.
And we have had a couple Fed speakers talk and more or less say that, I mean, I don't feel as strongly about it as he does, but I actually don't mind it. So I feel like we're probably going to get a lot less Fed speak, though there will be, Sean and Joe, something I do want to mention. On July 14th, we're going to get I love this, semi-annual testimony here in front of the House and Senate banking committees, and that'll be with Fed Chair Kevin Warsh. I love watching that stuff. I will definitely be covering it for you guys. Also, I do have news while I'm here that just came out here. The information reporting that Tesla's capping its employee AI spend at $200 a week, nothing massive.
I was going to say, Adara, he stated that he made that very clear during his first meet. He made that very clear during his first meeting that he really doesn't want to be as public as the previous Feds, right? So, I mean, hey, shout out. There's a task force for that, for sure, task force, without any question. But at the end of the day, man, I agree with it. He says he doesn't want the market to react to what the Fed does. He wants the market to react to what the banks do, more or less, at that point, and not wait for a Fed decision, which I mean, it's not too bad.
Warsh is loving the task forces, eh? Okay, here we go again. Zuckerberg remains, see, here we go. So this is the thing about how, we go from a negative spin, and I haven't even finished reading it, but I saw the remains confident part, that long-term trends still support Meta's reorganization strategy. So, okay, from no strategy to a great one to now we're happy with it. So this is the back and forth, and we can, again, have a quick look at Meta just to see what's going on. Nothing right now. So we got thrown for a little bit of a ride there. Nothing to cry about, but we lose about 10% of our day or so on that move there. So it kind of sucked. But at the end of the day, we're here to take a shot, and I did there, and it's not the greatest of shots, that's for sure, on Meta. But I thought it was fine. Shorting into there, shorting the news when it first came out. I mean, if that's the story that I thought it was going to be when he talked about AI not really picking up the way he thought it would, and all this money that they had spent not really, working as well as they thought, I thought we got a good little movement back down there on that secondary short. But the first little area, they're not a good one, and we'll wait to see what Captain Zuckerberg has to say moving forward on that one. Yeah, okay, let's go back over to some other names here today. I just saw in the chat. What's up, man? Yeah, Meta going down for sure. Shan, can you tell me about Oracle? I lost very big. Yeah, so what can we talk about with Oracle here? I mean, you know, we saw Google go out and raise some money. We know that Oracle's, you know, was doing that as well. And it's just as this data center talk, and, you know, it's never really a good sign here when you get, you know, traders and people looking at a stock and saying like, you know, where's the bottom and are we going to hold this time? So, you know, when I look at Oracle right now, you're right back here. And I remember Adara wasn't sweating it out or anything like that. She stayed with her conviction on this name, so shout out to that. But you did have a nice bump up. I mean, things were looking a little rosy when the market took that Google raise pretty well and thought that, okay, there is enough money out there for you know, the build out. And then all of a sudden, this kind of started to happen and Oracle fell on its face. And now Oracle has about 20 straight down days. And again, it's their remaining performance obligations. And it's just the fact that if anything slips up with OpenAI, with some of the funding, and SpaceX has gone well, but it hasn't gone that well. I mean, SpaceX did have, hey, look, the SpaceX went out at 135, right? And then it came to market at 150. It went up to 225, fell back in. I remember sitting here at 225, and I was like, I should get some out, and I didn't, and that was a little silly. But all the way back in now. So I think we're just a little worried about that, about the fact that maybe OpenAI isn't well received in the open market here on an IPO. Anthropic as well starts to come to market. And there's going to be a lot of public money that's going into these stocks. And it's just a matter of like, are they going to be able to fill out some of those obligations with Oracle? And if not, then Oracle's going to be caught holding the bag on developing a lot of this. And then they're going to have to lower their own numbers and everything like that. If some of these data centers, there was a story before of like, I don't know where it was, maybe it was in Atlanta or something, about a data center, you know, wasn't going to open, or they've sold the space to somebody. And this was a long time ago, but I'm saying as an example, if we get a story about that, things aren't going that well, then yeah, Oracle's going to take it on the chin even harder. So we do get a little worried about that. But, you know, it's the same reason why you're seeing a stock like Marvell, AMD, Intel, a lot of these names going to the downside today. SoxL, SMH. It's just what's been hot maybe is cooling down. Yeah. And I don't think that that's rocket science to say something like that.
I think, like, so I've been talking about this for quite some time. ChatGPT, monthly active users, 1 billion. Weekly active users, 900 million. Web traffic drives over 5.3 billion monthly active. Like, you have to take into consideration, I understand the stigma around Sam Altman isn't that good. They're saying he's a snake, he's not trustable. Dario doesn't like him, calls him all in. You have Alex Karp calling out these guys last night as well, too.
Alex Karp.
But 1 billion monthly active users on iOS and Android apps, you know how huge that is? This is the exact reason why this was the fastest growing app of all time. Nothing's came even relatively close to it. Claude, this is where you're going to get the majority of the growth. This is why I like Anthropic a little bit more. Even though these names are coming at insane valuations, the tool across the Claude ecosystem, you have Workspace, you have Claude Code, and everything else along those lines. I like Claude a lot, and I like Anthropic a lot. But I'm not gonna count these guys out, because you don't get to 1 billion monthly active users by being hot garbage. I understand that we talk about it quite a bit. Go. I thought you were pointing over there.
Oh, no.
Or like you want? Did you want to chime in?
I was doing your kind of moves there.
Did you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, but I want to let you finish.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Because okay, so you have all these users, but yet you're not making any money.
That's the issue.
See, so that's
the issue.
Right. So to me, it's like we could say this is the greatest thing of all time. If I go outside and I start handing $20 bills to everybody, I'm gonna have a lineup that is unlimited. Right? Absolutely. And that's what's happening right now. They're giving away the stuff for free. People are downloading these apps, they're looking at ChatGPT, they're using up all these tokens for free. FREE, free, right? So this is what's happening. All this stuff is being paid on the back of investors, on the back of private equity money. And that is shitty. So that's what's going to happen is that once they finally become public and they open up their books, I think there's a nightmare coming for Sam Altman and friends. I don't think they even should come public. Because again, and it goes back to what I was talking about earlier, and I actually heard Obi talk about this. Remember, he said if you have the free version, it's like talking to somebody in kindergarten. If you have the pro version, it's like talking to like a professor. And then if you have like the super pro version, it's like talking to a PhD. So there's different versions here, and they all costing a little bit of money, but every single version you're using is being subsidized by enter name here, right? And I think that's the problem. And until we actually see some kind of revenue.
To add to your point, like there's so you have 5% of the billion people that are on your platform who are paying a subscription.
5%.
Right? So you know what I mean?
I don't know how that number works out, but it's just, even those subscription numbers though, Joe, to your point, they're not charging the right amounts. Like my son he's in it, and he has the Pro, the $200 Claude version, I guess. And he said that, there was an article, and I just took him for his word, so I have to look this up. But it's about $7,000 worth.
Yeah, we got to look that. We have to.
Even if it's $1,000.
Okay, so what did he state again? Because this is the beauty of having these tools. What did you say? So per token generate. So per token.
I'd have to look. We'd have to ask. We have to ask a large language model for free to give us that.
Well, that's the whole point of this. So you're saying it costs $7,000 a token.
Not a token. It's just let's just say for $200 you get 1,000 tokens.
Okay.
But that should cost you it's costing OpenAI $7,000 to produce that 1,000. But I do want to say one thing before we go over to one in Adara, and that is that I could say this about every single business basically that ever existed, right? And that is that when you're in the infancy of a business, it's customer acquisition. There are costs associated with it, and until you figure it all out, there will be unfortunate losses that wind up happening. So YouTube lost money for years and years and years, right? Amazon lost money for years and years and years and years building up this business, right? And so what winds up happening is we look back at it, and you're going to look back and say, wow, this was a different time than 5 years from now. So this is something that we still have to work through. I still do believe in the AI race. I mean, I was telling you that all of my, not all of mine, but a majority of my holdings is stuck into many of these companies, and I still do believe in it. But it's getting to the point now where that's what's being questioned.
Yeah.
We're here to try to get some education and try to understand where stocks might be going and what we're in for, right? And I just think that that's maybe where we're going, and it's downhill.
So it's per million tokens. About 5 cents to $30.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So I think, like, what kind of a range is that? Like, this is why we need to open up the books and figure out exactly what it's costing these guys to produce the tokens, right? And so, anyways, interesting talk.
You heard this morning what your boy Alex Karp said. He's like, that token, it's BS.
Yeah, and that's what he said. Really, the only strength is in the compute power, because there's something there, and you can sell that, right? And so there's a need for that. And then he was also talking about the idea generation, but we can get into that in a minute. I was only 8 minutes. I'm about 6 minutes through that. I watched it this morning when you sent it.
Oh yeah.
We sent it last night, so thank you for doing that. But right now, I like Alex Karp, actually. I think
I told you I like.
I mean, he goes right on CNBC and is like, "Look, we just made a deal with Jensen, but I gotta have to."
That's how he started. He's like, "I gotta be respectful.
But I have to be respectful in what I'm going to say."
2 minutes later, he's like, "All right, well, Dario."
He just started pulling out the claws there, right? But I think that there's some. I mean, I respect people that speak honestly, anyways. But all right, let's go back over. He's here in the morning. He's here in the afternoon. It's one in Adara at the desk.
The U.S. stock market will be closed tomorrow, but here's another market or group of markets that actually won't be. It's the Asian market. So one's going to take us through what happened last night, what to expect tonight.
Oh, let me just start by saying it was an absolute free fall. An absolute free fall in the South Korean market last night. Mainly Asian tech, all to the downside. A huge risk-off wave sentiment. The Kospi, South Korean Kospi, plummeting nearly 8%, triggering some intraday circuit breakers as well. I mean, big names such as SK Hynix, they were down by more than 14.5%. Samsung, more than 9% downside. Even in Japan, the Nikkei 225, pretty much the same thing happening. They were down by 2.47%. Tokyo Electron, down by 7.4%. Advantes, down by 10%. Everything down for tech in Asia. So, what can we look at? What can we look forward to at the open for the Asian markets tomorrow? Basically, watch that Kospi, watch that South Korean market, especially the early order books. Following that 8% free fall, there's going to be automated margin liquidations. That's definitely or most likely happening. But if there is some forced retail selling, that can go down for a secondary gap down. if there's any institutional buying, maybe there will be a defensive save, but all the tech names like your SK Hynix and your Samsung, keep an eye out on that in the Korean Open. In Taiwan, also the same. TSMC, they remain under pressure right now. So if global tech sentiment fails to stabilize, which we're looking at right now, not really stabilizing as of now, Taiwanese chips may see some foreign selling at the open tomorrow. But in India, they were the only ones that actually were in the green today. So treat the 24,300 level as your resistance tomorrow. 4.6% surge in IT definitely helped push them over 24,000 today. But watch if whether that volume can challenge the overhead resistance. And you never know, there might be some pre-weekend profit booking that forces a retreat back down to 24,000. So at least India is looking good in terms of IT.
Yeah, let's see how India and all these other markets end up looking. And we'll see one with me here once again on Monday at 11:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. here for the Euro and Asian market segments, respectively.
Yeah, we went early there. Yeah, I thought it was 3:30 there, but 3:29. So thanks, one. And yeah, we saw the Kospi yesterday. I mean, again, SK Hynix, all these memory names are just so big into that.
Samsung,
that it's like sometimes you'll see, I get an update on my phone. It's like, wow, the South Korean index is down like 15% overnight. I was like, what the hell? But then it's just one or two stocks that's leading the way there. But yeah, that too. And so just make sure that you do check it out. Follow us.
I think that was Tiffany this time. She hit it.
Oh yeah, when the heck was even that, Tiffany? Yeah, so check it out. Thanks, one, for all that. And if you are looking for something to trade, not bad. There's a lot of liquidity over there. And we did hear that SK Hynix is trying to come through on a ADR. It's going to be listed here on the U.S. markets at some point.
I was going to say a CDR.
Yeah, CDR. Maybe there'll be a CDR at some point. I can trade that. It's funny. I'm just obsessed with the CDRs now because I hate paying. Honestly, I don't like paying the conversion.
Well, every time you do a transaction, it's like, all right, well, you just understand that your funds don't match the currency for the underlying asset that you're trying to buy, and they charge you that conversion.
So it's just kind of like I'm over it.
Oh, you know what?
SpaceX is ripping. So I'm gonna
go ahead.
Just quickly. 160.25. I'm out. I don't want to stop out exactly at 160, but if it does break 160, it's gonna run. So a little nervous there. Not nervous hands, but it's nervous because it's going higher here. I'm not nervous about it, but there it goes. A nice little move there in for the highs of SpaceX again. The highs of the afternoon coming into play right now for SpaceX.
Pull up TO for me.
We'll short a little bit of this soon on. Well, we're into it, but I'm getting out soon if that does break. And I do have a bid, and I'm going to call it up for you in a second. I do have a bid at 159.70 and then hopefully 159.30. So if we do fall back in, want to get out a little bit of this one. There it goes. We're gone. The minute that broke, by the way, the minute that broke there, it was easy to know that we were going to get stopped out. So we give ourselves another 25 cents. But we stopped a fail on the last reload. But definitely, I mean, P&L wise, I can look and tell you we are up nicely there on SpaceX today. So we're pretty happy about that. You want me to go spcx.to?
Yeah, I heard there was a discrepancy between.
Well, I think it takes a couple minutes for it to settle down. But yeah, so right now 1.56.
Yeah.
No, 1.6%.
6%. Someone was asking me about that this morning.
Okay, I don't know why that would be like that. Maybe there's something wrong here in this.
But you're not.
No, because up to 28. I wonder if we had. Okay, so you see.
Was there an adjustment?
No. Well, look. I mean, this is SpaceX is not down. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yesterday was not 20. I don't know what the problem is. We have to be looking at this because right there, 28.60. Right, yesterday down to like 26.50. Like SpaceX didn't have a 10% move. Like that's yesterday's close. It's not down to. So there is something yesterday. I don't know what's going on with this one. Actually, maybe we should find that out because normally there isn't that discrepancy like this. So I don't actually, SPCX, I don't know why it's like that, to be honest with you. Because yesterday's move on SPCX in the NASDAQ, you basically this morning, this is what I was saying, we opened up where we were. So I don't know why that dumped down. Is that an arbitrage opportunity?
That's what I'm saying.
It can't be because it would have been closed by now. We just have to look that up.
Someone asked me it this morning too, and because I don't have.
I don't have the answer to that. Because look,
I didn't have.
If we call up, let's just do anything. Let's just go to Nvidia. Let's just randomly do one. So here's Nvidia in Toronto today. I'm almost I hold these. So down 3.5%, 3.33% in Toronto. Is it? I'm trying to think about. Oh, man, we're a bunch of idiots.
Why? What is it?
Bro, it didn't trade yesterday.
Well, wait, hey, man, at least you're smart.
No, it's not. It's me. Thankfully, I figured it out, because it's starting to bother me a little bit. There was no trading yesterday. So when the market was open yesterday, whatever SpaceX did yesterday,
they just added on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it.
End
of story. That's the reason why. I think every single, I mean, they should all be slightly off. Yeah, Nvidia's off by 1%.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now you can breathe, right? You were freaking out there.
Well, I wasn't freaking out. I was just trying to, because when I don't, it's like anything. When you don't understand something, that's the whole point, right? It's like, if I don't understand the way something's looking, and we're sitting on here trying to talk about, our investments, and here I am saying I love buying these CDRs, and I look over and all of a sudden there's like a 4% difference. That's going to affect, the. I'm worried about changing over money at like 1%. And you're showing me an example here
down an extra
where I've got 1% every day, apparently, by holding on to these. But no, that's why those CDRs, I think they're really popular here in Canada. I think they're starting to get it. We did have a few individuals from CIBC come on and explain those CDRs to us, and they're just like the ADRs. So when you're looking at, Alibaba is another example, right?
Everybody on this one compares to the ADRs there.
No, but it's the same. It's the same mathematics, the same how it works, right? And that is that these ADRs are based on what's happening in China. So overnight they readjust and so on and so forth. So you're actually buying Alibaba shares that are deposited. It's American depository receipt. It's not the actual shares, itself. You're not going to get a voting right or anything like that. So. Anyways, that's what's happening there with Nvidia and the rest of them. Nvidia down to $193.50, Joe. Not great.
Disastrous.
Like, this was $200 at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So wow, just absolutely getting rinsed down there. To the downside is Meta, as Nvidia today, as I just looked at Meta 385, not doing a whole heck of a lot. And today's afternoon was brought to you by one of the most exciting things that happened this afternoon was this right there, and that was Meta, of course. Had that move, had a couple stories there. I tried to short there. We got short right there at the 50 and the 200. Once it took that, we got out. So, skin of our teeth out, but, a L there anyways on Meta, and an L our last trade on SpaceX, but it's nice to see that's getting a little bit of a bid there. And Alibaba, is that over 100? Not today, I don't think. $96. So this is another name that seems to be in a little bit of trouble, but nothing to really worry about. But Meta, downside, kind of looking like that Oracle trade, right? Nice downside play there for Meta. I've talked about this a couple of times. I think that if we're going to talk about the cost of AI, China known for cheaper costs and inputs. And, so if we are worried about using a generic LLM to search up like what hockey stick I should buy my 11-year-old and things like that, like what I use it for, then maybe a Quen or a model that's a little cheaper may work. And I think that there could be some companies as well that may move over to cheaper alternatives. And I think Alibaba will be knocking on that door at some point. So I don't know why crap stock. Why don't people just eat weed rather than burn it? I'm not sure it tastes very good.
Doesn't taste horrible, to be honest with you.
Weed?
Yeah.
Eating weed?
Like a edible?
Oh, you mean if you put it, bake with it?
Yeah.
Stuff like that, can of butter.
You mean like
we were actually at a Barnes & Noble. We don't have any Barnes & Nobles here. So when we were in Vermont, we went to a Barnes & Noble there, and it was just, I think it was a bit, I don't know if it was it was cookbooks. My wife was looking for one of them, and there was a big Snoop Dogg one there,
Yeah.
and it was something like cook or it was, I forget what the name was, but it was a play on weed, and it was like recipes you could make with or without cannabis. And it was back and forth. So to your point,
what do you mean? Like they get think about it at the store.
No, I'm not Guatemalan. Yes, go on.
You get like, it's like a Swedish berry form, like a fuzzy peach form and stuff.
I wouldn't know anything about that, Joe. Let's go back over the desk with Adara.
Just be aware here, guys. I'm seeing apparently President Trump will be speaking or having a CNBC interview aired at 5 p.m. today. So obviously after trading hours, but I don't know if you're trading the Asian market or the European markets. Just be aware here, guys. He will be speaking at 5 to Joe Kernan of CNBC. Back to you.
All right.
More action happening on CNBC as we speak, and we get ready. We want to say big happy 4th of July to everybody, right? You got any plans for tomorrow?
Just gym, man. Just be outside, hit the gym, hit the outdoor workout
like
gym.
That, eh? But what does that mean? Hit the gym? Like that can't be done for all day. I mean,
yeah, but once you've crushed, man, it's big chilling after that.
Yeah.
Work on a couple of things at home as well too. Got a couple of projects going on that I've been working on for quite some time.
Nice,
so we'll get some nice some bits of that done. Yeah. So yeah. Other than that, man, just big relaxing, hitting the gym.
Nice.
And working on some side projects, seeing what's going on with the overall markets as well too. Keep an eye on the
side
TSX.
projects.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, you're getting closer and closer. Pretty sure he's Nicaraguan.
Yeah, so we're not far.
Close there.
We're getting there. Yeah, he's actually Ecuadorian.
Come on. Let them guess.
Oh, sorry, man.
Let them
I'm
guess,
pretty
man.
sure. With
Colombian, maybe.
was that what you're aiming for? I was gonna say from Panamanian. Is that how they?
Let these people guess.
He's Mexican.
What's going on Mexico? Hey man, what a game that's going to be. What day is that one, man? Isn't it? No, it's U.S. No, it's U.S. Belgium. It's Mexico England. Wow, that's going to be a game.
Yeah, that's going to be a big game.
That is going.
It's funny.
To
So my buddy, he's from
game.
England, living in Mexico, and he's like, "Oh man, this is obviously awfully conflicting at this point." So yeah. Other than that, guys, let's head over to our watch. Let's see how we've got approximately 20 minutes left, 10 minutes till the imbalances come out. Guys, 12 minutes to be exact. TKO Holdings getting absolutely beaten to a pulp on this one, Katina Man, today. So what we do have. Oh man, I thought we were going to break out from 219 down 11% off of that previous pivot. But our good friend Steve Talman talking about JPM, thinking that we can get on a little bit of a run here, get up and go as we tapped into the all-time highs last week, I should say. So a nice breakout there. Before we send it back to Adara, let's see what we got going on. HIMS, I know a lot of people talking about HIMS. Are we still talking about this stock, which is absolutely crazy?
You said a lot of people are.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Why? It's actually not too bad.
Yeah, I think it's a great day.
A nice recovery. Yeah, a nice recovery there. It's more or less in that meme craze. But Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, banks a little bit of a mixed bag here. Not too bad. And then Robinhood, at one point we were up 8%. Now only up 3%, 3.7%. Let's send things off to Adair.
Just beware here, guys. CCXI. So CCXI, if you've seen this ticker on social media, this is a group called Churchill Capital Corp. They are a special purpose acquisition company. So they're set to combine with Agility Robotics. The last update I saw in this merger or business combination was June 24th. This could happen pretty soon. I've seen a couple different headlines about this company and Agility over the last couple days, but this one is the one sending it here into new intraday highs. BlueCrest Capital Management and Michael Platt apparently reporting beneficial ownership of 2.35 million Class A shares, or roughly 5% of the company here of CCXI. So again, we get a pretty big stake taken in this company ahead of its business combination with Agility Robotics. Back to you.
Good stuff. Yeah. Thank you. Before we go back to you, Sean, I want to bring this up. This is Coin, 2x leverage product, right? 2x leverage, down 95% off of its highs. This is going to have to reverse split in order to stay afloat. Okay, so Coinbase has been getting beaten up that bad, and that's why you don't own these leverage products for investment vehicles, because this will never recover. It's done. Like if you thought you were going to be a shareholder and get the complete appreciation, it will never amount to what Coinbase can do, unfortunately.
No, I think that's why we talk about trying not to hold them for the longer periods of time. I think you're right on right there. Yeah, man, Ronaldo is in the building right now. Not in our building, I wish, but he's in Toronto, and that's going to be quite the game here tonight as we got Portugal. Oh, what's going on right now? Oh, 1-0 Spain. Okay, I didn't mean to ruin that for everybody. But Spain versus Austria, I think that was going to always have been a Spanish victory. I mean, the odds at the beginning of the game were similar to probably what they are now, but now 1-0. That's probably a lock right there as you're heading into the first half. Becoming closed, or over with. And then tonight, wow, Portugal versus Croatia. If you guys get a chance to watch, and if you don't believe us about how hot it is right now, watch this game tonight, and I guarantee you that's all the commentators will be talking about, other than hopefully what a great game it is, but how warm it is here in Toronto. This should be interesting. If you guys are soccer fans, and I don't know, maybe it's wish kind of Sharif was here to answer this for me, but I'm not sure how weather affects the over-unders or anything like that, but I'm not sure how many goals are going to be scored. It's a really scorcher here. Portugal.
It's windy out too.
I didn't feel no wind when I was
all right, that's good.
But
that's good.
maybe it was windier yesterday. Switzerland versus Algeria. 3 great games happening tonight, and this one's going to be super close, man. Switzerland versus Algeria. I say go Algeria in this one, as Halim, my barber, is Algerian.
He's Algerian.
The very first time I went to him, we kind of hit it off right away. And he goes, Sean, I'm going to give you a free haircut, for the next 5 haircuts or whatever, or you pay me double, but you have to guess what my nationality is.
Oh, okay.
I had if you looked at this guy, I had no idea. Never would have I guessed Algeria.
So if you don't know, just guess maybe Algeria.
I just said I'm not down with it. I mean, I got to assess the risk, and I had no idea what it was. So anyways, great guy there. And then this is what I'm talking about. Sharif's going to be there. You're long SoFi, 1890. Sorry about that. I do like SoFi.
Oh, that's Sharif's friend.
We'll get that. Oh, Judy with the?
Yeah.
Okay, what's up, Judy?
Girlfriend.
His girlfriend. Okay, shout out Judy with Sharif. You dropping some information here that we should all know about? But here's Sharif, and speaking of the devil. I'll talk about SoFi in a minute quickly.
Yeah.
But there it is, Australia and Egypt there. Argentina, unfortunately, I think will clean that one up there. Colombia, Ghana. Here's Canada. This is big, man. July the 4th. Let's wait to see what happens.
We're not even that big of dogs.
No,
really,
man. 2-1 now.
Yeah.
It actually came in a little bit there. I was trying to find out France is going to crush. Brazil versus Norway. Wow, what a game that's going to turn out to be. This is what I was looking for. Here it is. So USA versus Belgium. Wow.
Wow.
So these are the two games that I think we're looking out for.
That's a pick 'em.
What a Sunday. What a Monday.
What a pick 'em on
both
that.
of them.
Yeah.
Like Mexico, England. This is in Mexico, though.
Yeah.
So that should be awesome, right? Is Mexico the dog in their own home? Crazy right there. And then USA, the favorite at home against Belgium in what looks to be another pick-up, but shout out.
Did you see Mexico City when they won?
Nuts.
Oh, man, nuts.
It just shows, I actually get like bumps when I see that because
big time.
It just shows all the love that there actually still is in this world.
Yeah, exactly.
That people can come together and they're coming together for something so awesome as sports. I mean, that is amazing. And, you see it all. New York actually, I was surprised that New York didn't get lit on fire when the Knicks won. I mean, I thought that was...
It was borderline.
But I thought it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was really happy to see how well that parade went and everything, too. So, I couldn't even imagine if Mexico wins this World Cup,
it's shut down.
It's shut down.
You're not getting any flights into, like, the Sinaloa, the cartel is going off.
Absolutely amazing to have that. So, I know some of the Knicks fans were fighting Spurs fans. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
I'm over all that. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye here on PLTR, Palantir and Watch. The information reporting that Palantir CEO Alex Karp said that some U.S. government customers have, quote, migrated to open source AI. If I get more details, I'll let you know. But either way here, guys, PLTR headline again, some U.S. government customers reportedly migrating to open source AI, as apparently was said by the CEO himself, Alex Karp. Back to you.
Okay.
I don't really know what to think about that. I don't really know what that means for Palantir.
Mm-hmm.
So open source, I mean, you still need to use the Palantir software to analyze the data. And we talked about what open source means. Do you own your code or do you not? There are some different worries there. And especially if you're talking about the government, I don't know. Doesn't seem like England will not get, I know. That was crazy what they did for Ecuador. They found, did you see?
They found where they were staying?
They heard about the apartment or the condo or the hotel that they were staying at there. And apparently the Mexican fans were literally up all night, just like the loudest, people around that space has ever heard. So the Mexican people were definitely giving it to the Ecuador team, and apparently they weren't able to get much sleep.
Wow.
And so England, I mean, you can't really hide. I'm sure
they will find you.
Right. They're probably not broadcasting where they're staying, but I'm not sure that's going to matter.
There's somebody who is keeping every
Someone's
eye.
going to. I mean, literally yesterday in Portugal, the 427 was lined with people.
That is insane. That's why
they were
understand.
stopping traffic to make sure that the Portuguese bus went that. This is major highway. These people risking their lives.
Well, remember when Taylor Swift, didn't she get the garden to shut down for her?
Well, I mean, there's certain security risks that are associated. And then the other problem is we have iShowSpeed here right now as well. And apparently he's going to be broadcasting live from a Toronto field there. And it's going to be showing, whatever he's doing.
I like Speed.
Me too. But my son said something like, Speed said he's never going to come to Canada or something.
Why?
I don't know. And now he is here.
He's here.
So I don't know if he has something against it. I don't know if he has passport issues or what, but he's here right now.
The guy's everywhere in the world.
iShowSpeed. So Toronto's going to represent real good today. And I think it's going to be a great time and a great party. And Marissa mentioned to me, she's like, oh, do you guys want, when you get home, do you want to go back downtown and go to the aquarium tonight and everything? I'm like,
oh, you won't be able to
45 degrees, first of all. And second of all, exactly. Like, I'm not trying to walk around downtown Toronto tonight. It'd be so much fun, but you know, that should be wild. I'd rather kind of watch the game and see what's going on there tonight. But yeah, congratulations to any team that's advanced to the next round, and congratulations if your team qualified for the World Cup, unlike Italy.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It
ranked.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. They didn't qualify, and they lost to Bosnia in kicks. Italy basically had to beat Bosnia in another qualification. We were up. I don't know if it was tied or we were up 1-0. Then in the 30th minute, we got a red card. We played the rest of the game. They scored in the 80th, and they won in kicks. And Bosnia advanced, and we did not. So, and then Bosnia lost again to the United States yesterday. So, all right, coming up in just a minute and a half, we do have the imbalances coming through. It looks like we'll have a pretty mixed board right now. QSR, what's up to Tim Hortons and Popeyes and so on and so forth. That's looking like that could be a bid. And again, here's another one of those names we talked about. Kava or CMG or something, Yum Brands, QSR, another one of the plays, and again, back into the food business there. We'll just have to see what's going retail kind of thing there. Spy, is that Sweet Greens? SG is there. So there's a couple of these names that are on there. Blue Owl's on there as well as a little bit of a bid. That name hasn't really recovered, you know, from, again, SaaSmageddon. They were really hit on that one, saying like if you invested in all these SaaS names. There's CRM, again, another SaaS name. They're coming upside. What has CRM done recently? Yeah, bad things as we get to the downside on CRM as well. But we've had a nice little battle back in some of those names, including Palantir and whatnot. And we'll get that going in just a couple of seconds. Right? What does Dave say here, Joe?
Dave, man, I appreciate you, man. I'm a highly respectful individual. Dave's IQ, neutral trade of the day. All right. Buying those dips to hold over weekend, YOLO, go USA, Mexico, and Canada.
Yeah.
Good luck. Stay safe in the heat, everyone. Yeah, make sure you eat a lot of food and drink a lot of water.
Oh, we did get that super chat about SoFi. I forgot about that one.
SoFi.
Stuck at 1890. So we do have right now just a couple of seconds until, I think SoFi does eventually break out, but it's not great that it faded at the exact same spot that it should have broke out today. So it should have kept going through 19. It came back in, and now it's hitting at 18 clean. So I like SoFi, man. Even Mitch was on this morning saying, oh, God, if I talk about SoFi, then Sean's going to like that. And I did, but wow,
Apple, there goes Apple.
NVIDIA with a big one right there, man. I mean, NVIDIA, wow, 8 million to 7 million to buy.
Yeah, let's roll.
Apple buying as well. That goes up to 309 as that's starting to go. Amazon with the buy. Can't wait to this number that Adair is going to give us. There's huge buys right now on the market. And what's the market actually doing? Boom, shakalaka. This is why it's very dangerous to hold shares into these imbalances. But we had shorted NVIDIA before a couple of days ago. Was it yesterday or the day before when we bought that NVIDIA on a dip when it came in on a sell? Now it's a buy. So do we go short on NVIDIA? Let's wait to see some of the action that happens right here on NVDA heading into the close. There it is. Holy cow. $7 billion to buy?
Wow.
Are they buying or what here into the open market? And these are open orders. So this is someone's trying to buy 7 million shares at close of NVIDIA. And they've already paired it off. So there was a 14 million buy at one point. So yeah, NVIDIA right there. Look, it's done 103 million shares today.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, they're buying it, and they're buying it pretty good here. It's NVIDIA. Let's see what winds up happening. Intel with a buy. That didn't really move too much on that, but it's a big buy heading into the close. Google, like they're all there. So there it goes, man. NASDAQ, buy. Everything buy. The Mag 7 is a third of that buy. So
yeah, absolutely. There's a nice little pop in Apple
as NSYNC would say.
Buy.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, shout out to JT. Well, I mean, I had no intention to, man, either.
Yeah. I might quit my day job.
You might?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say, I hope not, man. What are you going to do after
this
that?
Place. Can't believe I get paid to come in here and do this.
Yeah, exactly.
I love coming
always.
in every day.
No, in all seriousness, there goes Apple, guys. I mean, it was up big today. You go through the Mag 7, we're talking about them throughout the whole intraday session.
That was a horrible NSYNC. Yeah, that's right. That's why we're not quitting our day job, you know. Bye. You know, you got to do like a little bit of a bye. What was that thing that they did?
Yeah.
Some sort of a ain't no lie, baby.
Shout out to JT. I think I liked him a little bit more.
I mean, they did want me a part of NSYNC in the original group. I was a little busy then.
What's up?
You know, JT's asked me. Yeah.
Have you guys seen that video? And I mentioned this before in the show, but it's really iconic of baby JT. I think JC Chazé, also of NSYNC, might be there, Baby Ryan Gosling's definitely there, and it's on the Mickey Mouse show, like the kids show, and they're singing "Cry for Me" by Jodeci. And if you're thinking that's a weird song for kids to be singing, it is, but it's excellent. It's an excellent performance. If you've not looked up these like children singing "Cry for You" or whatever by Jodeci, it's so good.
Into the shadow, Jodeci. 4.6 to the top side here for AAPL. SpaceX positive here today.
This is popping.
Yeah, 2.6% as it's moving higher. Microsoft positive today. So there is signs of strength. There's a bull market somewhere. You just have to find it. Tesla almost 8% to the downside at those lows, a little around 8% plus. Broadcom, Meta, Megs, AMD, all to the downside, guys. AMD getting hit the heaviest here. Second heaviest, I should say, down 5%. Tesla down 8. ARM and Marvell. Marvell down 11 and a quarter here today, Katina, man.
No, don't speak ill of Marvell, my guy.
Absolutely disastrous. But don't forget, you've been on a big time run. 15 and
Thanks,
8
Vancouver Island.
Year.
But I like the West Coast, you know.
30% to the downside. Old kids on the block. Yeah, man. Shout out to Back.
I should have gone to New Kids on the Block. I think they performed a couple years ago at the amphitheater.
Okay.
New Kids on the Block. They did have like a reunion tour or something like that.
What was that? What was that group called?
They had,
where
New Kids on the Block had Step by Step. Oh, Harry Styles?
Yeah, and Zayn. One Direction.
One Direction.
One Direction.
Yeah, I used to have a joke there back in COVID. I said something like, Neil would say something like, oh, the stock's only going in one direction. And I said, I forget what it was. Yeah, there was something.
It'd be like something along that. Okay, all right.
That's Neil
but you know what's going in one direction as well, too, at this point, Sean? CrowdStrike, you guessed it.
Yeah, hopefully upside.
Tapping to the all-time high here. We've got to get that split adjusted here, Fabian, because there's no way I'm sliding in the rankings in the portfolio.
Sliding in CrowdStrike's DMs, or?
If I could, I would.
I mean, CrowdStrike, wow. That guy, remember when he asked Claude, or he was talking to these LLMs and asking them if they could represent, or if they could replicate his business, and, you know, should we be feared and everything. Do you remember that was CrowdStrike? That's why CrowdStrike went down.
Well, yeah, during SaaSmageddon when everybody thought.
Yeah. Everyone, and then look what CrowdStrike's, I mean, look at that chart.
Look at the recovery, man.
Wow.
I mean,
their earnings were legit.
It was down 40%.
Palo Alto,
I think this is 5 days in a row green for Palo Alto.
If Jesse was here, he'd be hating this boy band tangent.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 days. Who said that?
Dave. Where is Jesse? I thought.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's gone. No, it's my guy. He's gone.
That's what I thought. Okay.
He's MIA, man. We don't know where he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, we know how this game goes, Katina, man. It's not the easiest one for sure. It can become.
Oh, you think he's MIA for that reason? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not saying. I'm not making any.
Maybe he's on vacay.
Hey, Blicky Spears says he's messaged him and hasn't heard anything today.
He made that Deshaun thing. That was pretty funny when he made that.
Well, I came up with Deshaun with the
I know. He said the picture of the bandana. I actually tweeted that out.
Yeah, I know. I remember that.
Yeah,
you like the Deshaun Strickland? Hold on. 5%. 5% to the top side.
Nvidia.
I wish I had more shares on this, obviously. 307.71, now 309.20 here for AAPL.
What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye here on META. Guess what? I have more comments from Mark Zuckerberg, reportedly coming from this internal town hall, as reported by Reuters. Now, most recent comment here from Zuckerberg, quote, AI puts strain on the company and the stock price would be higher without it, but it's a long-term investment. So basically, he's admitting they're kind of struggling right now. The company and the stock are struggling, but he believes in this long-term investment. That's what's happening here with META, with just 4 minutes to go now until the end of the session. Oh, there's a super chat here from, can you help me out with the name? I cannot hear it. Roland, thank you, Roland. I'm sorry, I have very bad eyes, hence the giant glasses. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Roland. Adara is a memory stock herself. Happy 4th. Well, thank you for the kind words. And I hope I don't have, the wild volatility of the SanDisks and the Microns, etc. But I'm really happy to use my memory to provide you all with information. So thank you very much. And happy 4th.
We love all the super chats, and that is right. I mean,
we love you.
But hopefully Adara is not like a memory stock today, because those stocks, otherwise, you'd be hanging them up today down about 11%.
Buy the dip.
For some of those names, man. Is it a buy the dip situation? I don't know. Marvell down 10, Tesla down 8 right now, ARM down 8. IBIT, good day for IBIT, good day for Ethereum today. The crypto names starting to bounce back a little bit. ETHA, good little levels.
We're all out of Apple here, by the way, as we head into the close. So
it's always dangerous. I always wonder about taking trades into the close, right? With the last 10 minutes, I try to get out, and if anything, I try to hold about 10% if I still like it, or I think there's going to be a decent move. And it's nice to see that big Nvidia bounce, which, by the way, is paired off And it didn't have the same movement like we did the other day. Sometimes when these things pair off, they'll go the other way. But the point is that it's still a 15 million buy at the end of the day here. So we'll wait to see where that winds up sending a name like Nvidia into the open market at the close. We'll see a big print coming through for Nvidia. We should also see a decent print for Apple. That's going to be at least 10 million shares coming through on that one. And look at Apple. Just what a monster today. Like this might, and look, it's not a record day for Apple, but it sure might be over the last couple months. Like up 5%. Apple doesn't normally do this. And you're going to talk about up 5% today, but just here on the week, what a week it's been there for Apple. I can't see what that is, but anyways, it's more than 27. It's at least 10, 15% there on Apple over the week. So that was a good one there for Apple, closing out almost at highs again. I mean, this is a daily chart. So for everybody that was like, oh man, Apple, I don't know what's going on there. Like, they might be Tim Cooked. And then all of a sudden, it's just like they're now one day away from all-time highs again.
I know. It's just funny how quick we write stuff off sometimes. Like the stock dips, I get it, and now it's Tim Cooked. Like it's over for it. It's like, come on.
It's so stupid. But it is not. It is now cooking to the upside there as Apple. They're having some of those chicken sausage, Joe. They're loving those. And there it goes upside there as Joe. Apparently, Joe the other day said he introduced me to Farm Boy, so thank you so much.
I did. You didn't even come close, bro.
I've been Farm Boy for life.
Oh my
there's actually a plaque in your local Farm Boy that says thank you, Sean, for being our first ever customer.
The sign.
It's actually in your Farm Boy.
You know the sign where you walk in, it's like manager on duty?
It's right beside that, first ever customer.
Yeah, it's you. That's crazy, man.
You did introduce, the one thing I'll give you credit for, which is not even,
man, this is
the veal meatballs.
Yeah.
And what else?
The flattened chicken.
Which I'd had before. You mentioned it, but I did have the lemon pepper, and I give you credit for that one. Look, man, I'm not the guy that you have to worry.
Clearly, I have to be worried about.
Yeah, because it's fraudulent what you're saying. That's
crazy.
You want me to get here we go. This closing bell is sponsored by VinFast. We want to say a big shout out to VinFast and their loyalty to us, and thank you, VinFast, for your continued support of the great show that is known as Trader TV Live. I was going to say I can get Marissa on here right now.
Yeah.
And I'll ask her, when was the first time roughly that we shopped at Farm Boy?
Yeah.
It would be well before.
Yeah.
And I even knew who Joey Options was. For sure, man.
All right,
Farm Boy.
All right,
you know why? Because I remember when we started talking about it was when, this is a whole hell of a long time ago, when Amazon was buying Whole Foods. And I remember that I was trying to equate, because we didn't have too many Whole Foods around here.
Yeah.
And we still don't have too many. There's one right now in Yorkville, and I'm not even sure where there's another Whole Foods, to be honest with you. And I was equating it to a Farm Boy, and it's something similar. Yeah, there's one right here, right on
Square One. There's one as well.
Square One. Okay, Square One. Yeah. And then I like to be an investor in Trader Joe's. If Trader Joe's ever came to Canada, I really am a fan of the Trader Joe's. I'm a fan of this trader who's named Joe. And I want to say thank you so much for joining us all week. Neil will be back next week, but not until Tuesday. So you get this handsome gentleman and me next week as well. So we're here on Monday. And I believe Sharif is back. I'll have to look in the calendar, but I think he's back there. We hope that Sharif's having a great time there in Texas. I'm not sure if he's in Dallas or Houston right now, but he's going to be there watching the Egypt game, and that's
Fort Worth
tomorrow, I think, and then Canada on Saturday. So what a great opportunity for him to get into some games. And I was actually very foolishly looking at tickets for tonight. I was looking at that last night, so I was like, you know what, this is going to be the last game here. But of course, as if you're going to get tickets at a reasonable price with the Portuguese Croatia game. That's not going to happen.
That's chump change for you.
Yeah, it was 2,400. Between the lowest ticket was 2,400. I mean, I'd have to buy a pair at least. That's 2,400 there for one ticket. So I'm not even sure what it is now, but I'm not going, especially in this heat, man. I don't even know if it would be overly enjoyable. I mean, the game would be awesome. But man, wear white if you're going tonight, man. It is hot out there. Don't draw some attention to yourself over the sun. So, what is Sean says? Crapstock. Sean, is Neil your best friend? Yes, I have many friends, and I am a big fan of Neil. Neil and I have gone back since grade 7. So we went to the same school all throughout. We went to the same high school. We went to the neighboring universities. I went to Laurier, upper echelon. He went to Waterloo, a little lower. And then I've said this right in front of him because we battled back.
Yeah.
Laurier's called the high school down the road from Waterloo. Laurier maybe had a couple thousand people. Waterloo, tens of thousands of people. Waterloo more known for engineering and whatnot. Laurier is a business school, so I went there. But we went. So we traveled well together. And then when I first started working here, Neil was doing something else, and I invited him. This is what I mean. This is what we're friends. I invited him out one night to meet everybody, and obviously he's a great guy, so we got along with everybody. Then he applied, and I was already in, so we got him in, and the rest is history on that one. So yeah, but I think we've become. I mean, all of us. I didn't even know. Joe before this, I think we've become good friends. Yeah, Sharif, everybody, Brendan, everybody around here. Neil and I both from Brampton.
Brampton,
So shout out to Brampton. Shout out to Winnipeg, Adara.
Yeah.
There we go.
Shout out to
the capital, I didn't, what's going on at the corner of Bain and Portage?
Oh, Portage is how you say it. Portage in Maine. Yeah, that is, it's a lot of fun, sketchy corners.
Isn't that's downtown Winnipeg, isn't it?
It's hard downtown
Portage and Maine.
Yeah, anywhere. Okay, Maine's actually worse. Like, there's I think it's Maine and Higgins. And one time I said to my mom, I'm like, I'm going to take the bus down there because it's faster. She's like, don't do that. Like, take the other bus that's longer. And I was like, okay. Because there are a lot of areas and just, you don't want to get involved. But I do love Winnipeg. I always, I will shout out Winnipeg. I'm going to shout out all areas of Winnipeg, but also Transcona and North Kildonan, where I'm from. If you guys are from there in the chat, shout it out, and shout out to everywhere in Winnipeg and Winnipeg Beach.
There we go. Yeah, big shout out to everybody's hometown. Your hometown is?
Rexdale.
Rexdale.
Yeah.
Oh, we went bowling up in Rexdale.
Oh, it's right at there on the Bolorama. Yeah, Bolorama, man. That's my spot, man.
Yeah,
just down the street, right across the street from the
Let me guess, you introduced bowling to me too?
Yeah, well, obviously. Right across from there. Yeah.
Bolorama was all right.
Have you ever been to that breakfast joint right there, Willie's or something? I forget what it's called, Willie's.
Dude, we went to Wally's.
Wally's,
right
yeah.
after that, man. I love me some Wally's.
Hey,
Joe, you did not tell me about Wally's, but I do like that. I was there. We went there.
Wally's,
My boy had beef dip.
Yeah.
My kid had fish and chips.
Okay.
This is the thing, man. He's 24 years old. He's not really a kid. But they have the normal fish and chips.
Yeah.
And they have the halibut fish
We had to get that more expensive.
You had to get
one.
the halibut right there.
Yeah.
And don't worry, Dad, you slide the cart
we
over.
know what's right down the road. Quench.
Yeah, well, we're there all the time. That's
Quench,
one of our big ones there, Quench,
there.
as an arena. But you know who else met there at Wally's? Carney, President Carney and Ford met there.
Oh, did
about
they?
A year and a half
it's
ago
like
when he was
and then we
visiting.
also, just down the road, we have the infamous Steak Queen.
Yes, we know about that. But we were into Wally's there. It's just funny that you mentioned that, and you mentioned Rexdale. So shout out right here, man, in the GTA. All right, thanks for a great day again today, Joe, and thanks for everybody here. Thanks, One, and for providing us with those updates as well. Thank you to Adara for everything that she continuously provides me. I don't think we'd have half the show if we didn't have Adara. Thanks for Brendan on the open this morning as well on the desk. So it's great to see him every day, and people loving seeing Brendan as well. Big shout out to Tiffany, who's killing it over there. Andre, Fabian and Ramin doing great job. Yeah. Everybody knows about them as well. So I hope I didn't miss anybody. I don't think I did.
Michael.
Michael. Yeah, Michael. I mean, everyone. Michael's the best.
Yeah, Michael is.
Michael sits in there. Michael's the guy I yell at when we don't have any quotes going on. It's like, man, we don't have no quotes, Michael.
Right,
what's going on over here? But shout out to Michael, and I hope he has a good time as well. Are you working tomorrow, Michael, or what? Oh, he's off.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
Michael.
Hold on, no.
He
gets Canada Day and the 4th of July.
Michael's on like that Randy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
these guys have I think they have about 100 vacation days a year. These guys.
Good,
so,
that's good.
and I park here. Michael, we share
I
park.
know Michael.
Yeah, we're right there. Yeah. I'm always like, hey,
Yeah.
Michael. We see each other every morning and at the end of the day as well. So we park beside each other. All right, it's 4:06.
Yeah, man, we got to get out of here, man.
Thank you so much for a great day. Thank you to everybody in the chat. That's Joe. I'm Sean. Ciao for now. Happy 4th.